Howdy, howdy, and hello. It is I, Heidi Pop, and I'm here on a live stream chit chat. And I'm super excited because I have been pals with a buddy from across the pond you may know as Castle Dude. And Mr. Neil Warden and I have been pals in comments. He's a huge support on all the little series I do. I love that he's doing his thing now, and I'm just like, let's have a chit chat. I got my tea. I'm going to talk to my pal from across the pond, and we're going to see what happens. Have some shites and giggles. And I'm super excited because I think he's setting up. I see him in the back there. And oh my goodness, my little pop music for pop time. Let me lower this up because we got to hear this in all its glory. And yes, my voice is still jangly. I do all the things, okay? They're just attacking us. So it is what it is. But without further ado, I'm so excited. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome across the pond my good friend, Mr. Neil Warren.
Hello. How are you doing? Hi, Heidi.
Hi. How are you? It's so nice to see you.
I'm really well.
Yay! This is a trip. Look, we're in live time. Well, for those who have not heard, hello. And for those who just tuned in, I just saw the count go up. Hello, my name is Heidi Pop.
Swing. And I am Neil Warden, aka the Castle Dude.
Swing. And if you get any idea what we're talking about, you're in for a little bit of a laugh today.
Yeah.
Did that play well? Was that everything you dreamt?
No. We can edit it out after. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I love it. It was funny. Hi, Carol. Hi, Mr. B. Oh,
hello, Carol and Terry. How you doing?
He says,
I'll try and get a bit of light, a bit of illumination. I think it's a bit dull. I'll get some light going.
You are nothing but illumination. You are the illuminator.
Oh, the illuminator. Like the Terminator.
Hi, Michelle. That's my buddy Michelle here. She's a good support.
Hello, Michelle.
Too. We've got a chat. I'm so sorry. Roger Blair. Hello, Roger Blair. Some peeps are coming in. Well, if those who have not heard, I'm kind of like, I guess I'm starting to sweat a little bit because Neil and I have been sending like talk text to each other.
I mean, Heidi's been slipping into my DMs like every day, like spamming me, and she just won't leave me alone.
I gotta cover the giant's ears. Hold on.
I know. There's a 7'2", 300-pound giant. Hiya. Hi, Marcin. How you doing, buddy? Love you.
Well, he already approves of you being our tour guide when we come out to visit. So you're all good. You're in.
Oh, wicked. Awesome.
But this is a treat. We do talk text. We support each other. And I'm like, let's talk on real time and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So we're doing it.
You're the only one brave enough to let me on the show.
Well, I'm just popping your cherry because you already signed up. We're going to do a synaptic circle. We're going to have a guys' night. Gerald, I'm about to bug you about that. We got Mr. Jim Goodall and Terry and Robert Bauer. We're going to get you in with all the boys for some boy time. And I'm going to pull my best Betty Boop and just entertain y'all and let y'all talk amongst yourselves and host all that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, Mr. B, I am a stalker, aren't I? And I with our talk text too. He's a lovely guy.
Actually, I just want to say as well. Actually, I mean, let's talk about how you and I sort of connected because I'm over here in England. You're all the way 8 hours in the past in Los Angeles compared to me. So basically, I got introduced to you from watching Journey to Truth. Which is a really cool podcast with Aaron and Tyler.
That. Yes.
And then you were a guest on there. And then you were a guest on Robert Earl White, Order of Light. And I was learning a bit more about you. And then I was just fascinated by your connection to Hollywood and, everything that went on with that. And I was like, no way. She was actually there.
My survival.
She was actually there. So I was asking you, like, commenting on your video, and we had a little conversation. I don't know if you remember that. That was like the first sort of talking
Absolutely, I
that we
do.
did,
Yeah.
and you were like, you were probably thinking, oh, who's this guy? Is he the CIA or something asking me all these questions?
Then I would only give you one word answer if I thought that. I thought, who is this charming bloke? Who is this one?
Yeah,
Is he trying to shag me in the comments?
can't say that, Heidi.
I
I
know. Where's the
swear.
swear jar? I forgot my swear
Right,
jar.
right,
Please.
yeah, that's $10.
It's a tea drinking game. Anytime I say shag. Okay.
One
All
lump
right.
or two, man. Oh man. So yeah, anyway, I started and I thought, you know what, Heidi's brilliant. I love what she's doing. And then when I learned about what you're doing with the school and the learning centre, teaching kids what they really ought to be taught, about how the world is and the stuff that we're connected to the earth, and you're not filling their heads full of this crap. And I was just like, you're brilliant. Your energy is brilliant. You're beautiful. You sacrifice so much personally, financially as well. And people don't realize that.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yes.
you're just going
Oh,
for it.
Neil.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to support you and stick by you. And so even if nobody else comments on your videos on YouTube, I will be the solo commenter,
Oh my gosh.
regardless.
Cry. You and
And I think
Michelle
I'm,
both are sometimes the only ones there. You're gonna make me cry. Because Neil, I don't
yeah.
think you understand too. Neil also sent me this little PayPal tip. And it really blew. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't ask, what are you doing? But what you don't know understand is I was in a really bad situation. I was in the
Oh
red. I
wow.
was like, I couldn't fill my car. Like you really, I was like, oh my gosh, how did he
Oh,
know?
Heidi.
So it was really sweet. And I was like, he gets me.
Yeah, yeah,
Without, and
I
you
do.
didn't make me feel silly about, like, I was like, please don't, this is awkward. And you're like, dude, I'm just supporting your work.
Yeah,
I'm like,
just accept the
yeah,
gift of
it's
kindness,
really
There's
sweet.
no strings attached or anything. And
Yeah,
it was
my
almost
turn.
intuitive the way that happened and the way that I did that. I didn't know you needed it.
I
I
know
just
you really
I
didn't.
just it was almost like an
Man.
intuition of mine, and I just went with it. And that's what I've been doing lately through your teaching and your guidance, and like being thankful to the
Oh,
universe and listening to my intuition. And instead of going against it, I'm
yeah,
going with the flow. And I'm not just sitting there watching podcasts, learning about it. I'm
yeah.
actually practicing it in my everyday life. And since I've been
Yes,
doing
you
that,
are.
I've been going from strength to strength.
Yes,
When
you
I first
have.
when I first started watching you, I was just a dude walking his dog around a lake. The first
Monty.
video that I did, yeah, little Monty.
Monty
He's
taking his
downstairs
cruise.
actually, yeah. And then I've got this job, helping people with mental health problems get back into work, so supporting them.
Beautiful.
And I'm loving it. My bosses
Hmm.
are happy with me, so that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And so
Aw,
that's going really well, and I'm just enjoying life. And
I love it.
I'm keeping my feet on the ground. I'm not getting too big headed. I'm still
Like me,
keeping grounded.
like Terry says, you're giving me a big head.
Yeah, and Terry, I'll just say hi to Terry quickly. Amy, how you doing, Amy? Good to
Amy.
see
This
you.
is so funny. I'm tearing up. I thought I'd be crying from laughing, but I'm crying from like my heart swelling
We'll
up.
get to the good
Yeah.
jokes after.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'll cheer. I'll turn that frown upside down.
Oh, no frowns. No frowns.
No,
Just
I
sheer
know.
like, oh, you're one of the good humans, Neil.
Yeah,
You're a good
that's what I
man.
feel with you as well, and that's why I just knew, like, even if no one else really followed you or didn't want you on your show or give you the time of day, I know you're a good person. I don't need other people. I don't need a big YouTube channel to interview you to know that you're a good person. Like, I
Aw.
know it already. So
That's awesome. That's so sweet. Hey, you brought up a good question. Thanks, Carol, for throwing it in here. Because when we started, you said, oops, I scrolled too quick. It was just Neil Warden on YouTube, but now you're officially Castle Dude. Do you want to
exactly,
talk about
yeah,
how that came in? Oh,
yeah, yeah. I
I know
can do.
you can't. Do you think right before well, it's in the middle of the night somewhere, and someone just popped in, I think, to say hi and surprise you. Would you like a little hello from literally across several ponds.
Oh, is
Are
it?
you?
Let me guess. Is it Mr. B? Mr.
Let's
Terry?
see. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's Terry.
Terry. Oh, how you
G'day.
doing, mate?
I decided to fly in on the ship, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
I have a beautiful view, you know. Hey,
Oh,
what are
wow.
you doing? Hey, what are you doing to Heidi? She won't be able to get out of that bloody studio when she's done with a bloody head so big. I mean, hey, Heidi, listen, love, I've got to tell you straight. I saw you in a look. I've got the bloody phone. I'm watching the show. Look, excuse me.
Yeah, it's a little loud. What are you doing over there?
I'm getting feedback of your show because I was in StreamYard and I'm not watching the show while I've been StreamYard as such, you know, until I put the link in and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, put all that aside. What's this? I noticed you with your hair all doll up and a ball gown, you know. And where did you go? I mean, you're looking pretty spiffy, young lady. I mean,
I clean up pretty nice, Jerry. I just have to say.
oh yeah. I've seen. Hold
Yes,
it.
she does, yeah.
I don't want your
Hi,
head to
Martin.
swell.
Hi, Martin. How you doing, mate? Love you.
I don't want your head to swell, Heidi, but I have seen better.
Thank you. And Bo is like, I think the Giant's on set, so maybe he's defending. He's going off right now.
Anyway, listen.
Is that the time? Mustache? Bye-bye.
Hey,
I'm joking.
Listen, I'm going to sit aside here and can I just be quiet here and just let you two talk and just let me kind of listen in?
Yeah,
Are you a peeper?
let Terry can be the third wheel.
He could be the gardeners here, so the kids are going to come close the blinds because gardeners are such a threat. And Michelle, I think Bo could sense you. But Terry, let me tell you real quick, that video's from 3 years ago. Yes, I was in a beautiful Halston dress. I thrifted it. And I was at a ball, and it was a conference in Florida. And I was kind of volunteering. And at the end of this ball, at the end of the conference, there was a ball, and that's what I was doing. I was introing it. And if you go through the comments of that post, you'll see me interviewing my first time Tyler and Aaron. They're in there.
Yeah.
And a few peeps are in there. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start live streaming, talking to people. It kind of helped me start doing that, I guess. So that's what that was. But Terry, good timing, because I was just going to ask Neil. I don't know if you met him as a Castle Dude, but I watched him go from Neil Warden into Castle Dude, and he was just about to say why, like what happened there. So you keep stalking, and we'll listen to Neil.
So basically, I'll talk you through the transformation from me, Neil, into Castle Dude. What I did one day, I woke up and I thought, hey, I know. I'll wear my underpants outside my trousers and call myself Castle Dude. And then walk around castles talking, freestyling, talking about the history, the paranormal. A few years ago, I got into Periscope and stuff like that, like live streaming. So I kind of dipped my toe in the water back then. A little bit of life happened in between then and now. And so I went away for a bit, came back, and I've gradually built up my confidence. And I thought, you know what, I enjoy the cryptid world and, the paranormal, ghosts and stuff, space, aliens. But like you guys have got that covered, I think. There doesn't need to be another talking head on that subject. So I thought, what can I do that's kind of connected to the paranormal and the history of us humans, humanity? So I thought, I love castles since I was a little kid, going on holiday to Wales, Newcastle upon Tyne, all these beautiful, amazing castles. And I thought, I'll just do that in my spare time. So normally I try and get to one castle a week. I go on a Saturday, so I'll possibly go tomorrow or Sunday. And I just wake up, decide on the day. I go, I do a little bit of research on the castle, but because I love history and I've known it all my life, I can just freestyle, drop in a few little, comedy nuggets of gold, and just enjoy myself, and appreciate something that's been there for over 1,000 years and it's still standing.
Oh my
and the
gosh. Yes.
beautiful views, and yeah, it's incredible. And I went to Marcin's homeland, North Wales. That is, there's a
Well,
plethora of castles there.
absolutely. Well, he came from there, but he is Mr. Polish man. He's a Polish man.
Yes,
But
yeah,
but I
yeah.
mean,
He's Marcin Polish via Wales.
yes, yes,
Hashtag Los Angeles.
yes. But seriously, Neil, one of your very first videos almost went viral because you had a little ghost pop up.
Yeah, and that
That's
was
when I was like,
completely.
"What?"
That was. I wasn't even. I knew that castle was haunted and it was cursed. But like that day, that was a Sunday morning. It was freezing cold. You know, there was frosty on the grass and everything. There wasn't a soul about because it was bitterly cold. So I was on my own. I thought this is ideal for someone like me walking around filming. I've got no one to sort of dodge and worry about. So I was just walking around, and on the video, you can actually see it as I'm walking around when that little ghost, because it's a little ghost head, and it goes like that, but really quick. And I at that same time go, whoa, like that. And it's just the way it worked out. And I know I didn't feel anything at the time. I was completely on my own. But you know, a skeptic would probably say, "Oh yeah, he had one of his mates or something." Well,
No.
I say to those people, it couldn't have been my mate because I haven't got any friends.
Oh,
You sure?
wasn't there.
You got me. You got me, mate.
Yeah, we weren't there. But also, it was off of a wall. You're at the top, and it's a wall. Someone would have been
Yeah.
dangling from
And I
the
was
wall.
literally, yeah, I mean, it's literally blink and you'll miss it kind of thing. As I'm walking, looking in that direction, I would see a little, you know, Terry looking dude peeping at me and then ducking down really quick, you know, and I spin around like that. So I would know if someone was skulking around there, I would know, you know. But then when I watched it back, because one of my many fans commented and said, "You need to look at this. You know, there's something there." When I looked at it, like the tingly, I had all the tingly. I was like, "No way, that's a ghost," you know. So
I know. I got
yeah,
the tingles too. I
yeah,
was all tingly. I was like, wait a second. And I had to freeze frame it a lot. And then when I saw your count go crazy, I'm like, oh, people see it too. Like, this is
yeah,
kind of cool. So now you're the
yeah.
castle dude. Yeah, you
And
get
yeah,
great
now
videos.
I'm the castle dude. Yeah,
Does
yeah,
Monty
I
go
am
with you?
at castle dude. If you want me to visit your
What's your-
castle, if you're some billionaire dude or billionairess who happens to live in a castle, call me.
Let him video your nooks and crannies.
Yes, yeah, and the castle as well.
I quite enjoyed that visit you had on Short Street. I really enjoyed that short video you done on Short Street, which, you know, when you get in all
Yes,
the
yeah,
stores,
oh yeah,
you know?
Heidi. This is cheers, Terry. This is a new thing that I've just got into. You know, I know Heidi, you're popping my guest appearance cherry. Well, last week I popped my live streaming cherry. So you know, I'm popping a lot of cherries at the moment. I haven't got many
Glowing.
cherries left. I'll have to
Glowing.
check.
That's
So yeah, I went
exciting,
to.
Neil.
Hey, do we have to say? Hey, by the way, do we have to censor this? I mean,
No.
I was like Terry. I was born censored.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was
And
born
we know
sick,
I'm the
mate,
queen
so.
of social media censored, so
I know. Yeah, we're all censored together. You know. Let's let's smile through it.
Carol loved your live stream. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Nicole,
Oh,
nice to meet
yeah.
you.
Wow. The first one was a bit of it was a comedy one, but I didn't mean it to be a comedy one. Basically, I went to a women's convent, an old priory, you know, and it is very haunted, and people see the ghosts of the nuns walking around, you know, all the time. And it's way out in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of the countryside. There's no street lighting or anything. It was
dark.
pitch dark. I think it was on a Friday night, actually. So most normal people are in the pub. I was out at a haunted priory on my own as well. So I thought, I was just going to do a walk and talk, but I thought if I do that, you know, I'm a bit on my own. I'm a bit scared. So I just did the live, and literally before I hit the live, I heard a woman's laughter like behind me, and I froze, and I turned back and looked down the trail, because it was a little country road and then a trail, and it led you to, it's like the ruins of a priory, you know, in the middle of a field. And I almost went, "Do you know what? This is too scary for me." And I almost walked back, but I thought, no, I've come all this way. I've come here. I'm literally a stone's throw. I've got to do it. So I went there. I hit the live. I couldn't figure out how to turn the light on my phone. And then Gerald was going, "Turn the light on, Neil. We can't see anything." And so I'm just commentating for about 8 minutes with a black screen. They can't see anything. But then eventually I figured out how to turn on the light. So yeah.
But there still views are still there. People are like, "What's gonna happen?"
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, the people, Gerald, Jane, they're a lovely couple in the Midwest. You know, I've got a lot of time for them. They were watching. Mr. B, Terry, good pal, he was watching as well. And then last Saturday, I thought, what other haunted location can I go to that's, you know, a little bit left field, a little bit interesting. So I Googled haunted locations near to where I live, and it turns out one of the most haunted streets in Britain is literally 20 minutes down the road from where I live. And that is Short Street in Stoke-on-Trent. And it's like a time capsule. You would think it's like one of, you know, those living museums where they build the houses how it was in like the old 1800s or something.
Oh yeah.
It was literally like that. The houses have been abandoned. They've not only have they been boarded up, but they've actually put metal panels over the doors and windows because for whatever reason they don't want people getting in, you know. And I didn't actually see anything or hear anything paranormal, but I did get the tingly feeling a couple of times. There is definitely energies there. And a few of the stories that people have witnessed there, this is in broad daylight too, so it doesn't have to be, you know, in the dark. A guy was walking his dog, and he was just walking down. It's a tiny little street. It's not even wide enough to drive a car, you know. It's the old cobbled streets from the Industrial Revolution. And he was walking his dog, and there was a lady sat on the steps of one of these houses in period costume. And he said he looked and he thought, "Oh, is this some kind of reenactment, or, you know, is there some kind of special event going on?" And he said hello, and the lady said hello, and he walked past, and then he thought, "No, this doesn't feel right." And he turned around, and she was gone. She was completely gone. I know. And then other people have experienced, like, they've gone to that street and it's looked all bright and painted and like it was brand new. And then as they've carried on walking, it's turned to what it is today, like decayed and left. So it was like they've gone through like a time little portal or a loop, you know.
Ooh,
I know.
that's
And then there's
cool.
been, there's
You
people.
have you have the armor of God on you, because I mean, if it doesn't give you the you know, you're just like walking right into it and doing that. That's pretty awesome.
I've got my I put it down to, I'd like to put it down to the armor of God, but it's got to be down to my Dave Scott underpants, courtesy of Spaced Out Radio.
Shout out, Dave.
Yeah,
you're coming.
Shout
You're
out
going
to Spaced Out Radio.
You're going to be there, aren't you?
I'm going to try. I've got my visa application in, so fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, everybody.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's like May 12th, something like that in Reno.
It is.
Yeah, I'd love to.
That weekend. Professor Bauer, you're getting up on all these accents. Look at you. Hi, Professor. All the gents are in here. Guys, I'm having a guys' night for you coming up, a Synaptic
Professor
Circle
Bauer.
guys' night, because you guys have been the most supportive people out there. You're kind of giving me a life to do this again. So thank you so much. And thanks for giving this love to Neil, because Neil, I love seeing you just go and
Hey,
everyone's
look,
embracing
you know, us guys just love crashing in on your show. We really do. I mean, I mean, kick the doors down and just come in and say, "Hey, see what's happening," you know? I mean,
There's
hello,
no need
I'm
to
here.
crash. You're welcome. I did write Jim. I wrote Goodall, and I was about to bring y'all. I'm like, well, wait, Neil and I, we have to get our conversation in because we've been
Well,
trying to.
we can listen and take the piss out of you guys. I mean, let's face it. I mean,
Hang on a minute, guys. Hang on. 2 seconds. You know the golden rule: when someone mentions Jim Goodall, we have to all do this. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
The legend, the man himself, mate. The man and the legend.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's
Let
a
me
good
send
guy.
them all a
Yeah.
link and see if they'll say hi. But I do want to say a quick hi to my new friend Victoria. She's from Argentina. Argentina in the house.
Hello.
Hi, Victoria.
Hola.
Hey,
You won't
Hi,
believe this.
Victoria.
She's in Argentina. We were chatting in a chat. I'm not going to share exactly where. Don't worry, Victoria. But when she told me the time she came to the States for high school, she was actually 30 minutes from my high school, my hometown. So I was like, of all the United States, we were like right there by each other. No wonder we're like drawn to each other. Oh, we got a hillbilly accent in the house. We better bring you on too. We could all have some sort of chorus. Let me send you boys and then see if anybody wants to say hi. Well, Terry, it's like 1:30 in the morning there. What the heck are you doing up?
Well, it's a long story which I can't talk about on here, but I'm really enjoying myself here at the moment.
Oh, good.
I don't sleep
But
very well.
at least someone's enjoying themselves, Terry. I have to say, you know, I can't wait for it to end.
I suffer with insomnia, you know. I mean,
I'm joking.
now that's going to deflate her head, isn't it? I mean, let's face it. You know? Hey, don't worry, I'm on a starship here, mate. If you don't watch it, I'll beam you up and I'll beam you out.
I'll get prepared. I'll get the Vaseline.
This here is the Starship Southern Cross, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
it's my Southern Cross Starship. So just enjoy
whatever you do, Terry, don't cross the beams. Remember,
I'm still trying to find out where the bloody toilet is. You know?
Oh, mate. How are you doing, Terry? You all right, mate? You had a good day?
Yeah, I've had a good day, mate. Yes, I had a good day. I've had a pretty good sleep today. That's why I'm up wide awake today.
That's good.
So, but yeah, mind you, marvelous what about half a dozen cans of Jack Daniels can do.
Are you really? Are you
mate,
that?
I'm not a drinker, but lately I you get that.
Sure.
Yeah, you're now and again. I know what you mean. Yeah. There's no harm in that, Terry. You know.
Of course it's not. You know, and no leg in it either.
Well, cheers, Terry. Enjoy your JD and Coke, mate.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to shut up and go and let Heidi run her show here. I mean.
Well, I'm actually sending some links to see if anybody's popping in. I'm just, you might as well stir the pot a little more. So I sent a few. You have it too, Terry. So if you see anybody there, I hit up Jim and I heard of Garrel. Oops. Oh, am I muted? No. There you go.
Get Robert. Hey, I know Robert's there. Get Robert in. You know what I mean?
I did. I think I just sent it to you, Robert. So.
Yeah.
But I can't. This is so funny. I'm telling Neil. I told you, Terry. I go, no, we're just heaving it small. It's just a chit chat. And now it's like, get them all in here.
Let's get everybody.
It's all about having fun.
It is.
It's not serious here, you know. Yes.
Come on, Bobo. Cut me some slack. He's feeling the testosterone.
Is a little thing, you know. I've been watching Terry and Professor Bauer, Jim Goodall, Gerrel, and Heidi sometimes. You know, come and have a little collaboration of a weekend. And every time I hear Professor Bauer, I just get Jeff Goldblum. I don't know. He does. I mean, I don't know if it's my hearing or something, but to me, it sounds like Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Hey, you do realise my good friend Robert Bauer, he's got an affair with the microphone. You know, he loves the microphone.
Oh, does he like the big ones?
No.
Sorry.
Hold on. One, two. Here we go.
Oh, Bauer, we're talking about you. You better redeem yourself.
Hey, don't worry. If Jim Goodall was here, I'd tell you something. He'd be giving Robert a really hard time about how he hugs the microphone. I tell you that now. But anyway, it's always a pleasure having Robert around, though, because when I've got nothing to talk about, he just fills in the gap, or 95% of it. He's a great dude.
Record. It was like 5 hours or something, or 3 hours.
5 hours.
5 hour.
Yeah. I thought we'll just do about an hour and a half, I mean,
Mike, I'm glad someone's entertained. Thank you.
Oh, it's great. It's good. It's good fun. We enjoy each other. Jim loves his Saturday evenings, so he really looks forward to being with the boys. Or he says, "Have you got the ladies on?" And I said, "Jim, you're a dirty old man." He said, "Yeah, I'm like you." And I said, "Well, that's why we're bloody friends, isn't it?" Excuse me, everybody. That's just me,
I had that lovely breakfast with Jim. Remember, he came through town. It was
yes,
really
I remember
sweet.
seeing that. Yeah.
I felt it was such an honor. It was so cute. And then he cruises by with his he cruises off in his I'm gonna get
Corvette.
it wrong. Corvette.
Is it Corvette?
Yeah.
You could hear him for blocks leaving. Like every time he kicked off, it was like, and everyone's like, ooh.
Well,
I see someone else who wants to say hi. Can we let's just turn into the boys club now, aka Betty Boop and the boys. Here we go. Hello, Professor.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever we are, and you may be. I'm sorry. After listening to all that abuse that I was being put through, and trying to sort out what the hell was being said, I had to charge up my universal translator, so I could understand precisely what it was that I was being abused about. And once the translator gave it to me, I realized they're all right. They're all correct, except for the Jeff Goldblum reference. I'm
still getting it. I'm still hearing it.
Somebody mentioned that in a show a while back, and then there was a couple of them that said I had my doctor's
probably
going on.
It was probably me.
Yeah,
probably me.
That's the dude. That's right. Okay, now I know who it was.
Yep, that was it.
Well,
Heidi, happy to see you.
Well, it's happy to be seen, and Heidi, your braveness to be in the midst of all this testosterone-based carbon units.
She's a bloody hero. She's a hero. Come on, man.
The dog's like, it's a party now. He's like, I hear it. Well, I'm just happy to see you all. Like, it's so funny. I was texting and, I want to get that circle going with everybody, but why not have a Good Friday laugh with all? This is the first time Neil and I are talking IRL, like in real time, other than talk text. So we're like, let's have some laughs. And I see you, you're in the Beehive now and we're in all the same groups. So let's have a laugh. It's really just having a laugh. And the gardener will be done soon. I promise this will calm down. There's I don't know if you guys can pick up on that. There's a lot happening over here right now.
It's all right. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. At least people can see you. I don't know how to turn my light on. I'm having the light issue problem. Hang on a sec.
You look great, buddy.
You look like a castle dude.
Is that better?
Ready to tell a story.
No, it looks okay.
Is that brighter? Is that brighter?
Oh, it makes your eyes sparkle,
Why, thank you, Terry.
You're welcome.
So my question is, Neil and Terry, do you guys understand each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I watch Neighbours since I was a little kid, which is an Australian TV show. So I know all the Aussie lingo, Yeah.
That's coming from a pommy. We call English people poms in Australia.
Poms?
Terry, you'll get cancelled.
I don't care. Pom is abbreviated for prisoner of Mother England. Pommy. Right. So we abbreviate short. That was the original nicknames they gave for prisoners coming here. when they
it is. Yeah.
They thought they were sending him to the colonies to be punished, but they gave him golden sands and beautiful fresh air. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, what else, man? It was actually a joy.
Well, that was one of the things that, I thought was quite strange about all the complaining about, Australia being populated by prisoners. I'm going, it's a freaking gorgeous island. How in the hell, what do I have to do to get arrested and be thrown out into some paradise? Because I've been trying hard here in the States and they just don't want me. And speaking of,
it's a secret.
And speaking of linguistic challenges, I have to say, and Heidi, you're from California, right? You're in California, right?
In California, yeah.
You're not originally, though, from California, right?
Midwest, Chicago.
So I'm one of those originally kind of rare native Californians. I was born there back in the 50s. And so I lived there for almost 30 years before I moved across country to Chicago and then eventually down into Atlanta. And one of the first things every time I moved to another part of the country that people would say, well, we're trying to figure out your accent. Where are you from? And I said, well, California, we don't have an accent there unless you consider Ebonics or Valley Girl or something like that as an accent. But when I moved to Chicago wasn't too bad because they've got that. It's kind of a cross between Canadian and English that happens up there in the upper Midwest.
It's very nasally.
Yeah, and it's got that Chicago kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that irritated the hell out of me, but I put up with it. Then when I moved to the South, that all y'all, you sweet pea and all that shit. I
lived there too.
I was like, I don't know what it is you guys are saying. I think it's kind of nice because at least the facial expression comes across as they're being nice to you. But then I found out that was it was a big facade because I was tipped off by some of the folks that I met when I moved down there, and they said, "Look, remember this: there's Atlanta, and then there's Georgia, and just about 15 miles outside of Atlanta, you run into where indoor plumbing stops, and they speak an entirely different, language and different things and thoughts and I had to learn that pretty quickly. And they said, when they look at you and they say, "Oh, honey, oh, sweet pea," all y'all, they're being nice to you, but they have got a knife in their hand behind their back. Yeah. So just be careful.
Well, I'll just tell you one thing.
I've got a chip in there. Jessica Jones, the cryptid huntress. She's got a beautiful southern accent, and I'm sure she doesn't stab anyone in the back. So, Jessica, if you're watching, hello.
You know what? When I was living in London, I went up north, and somebody said to me, "What part of London are you from, young man?" And I said, "I'm an Australian." And all I got was, "Oh, you're a colonial."
Nice.
Yes, true.
You're like, what? Well, I was born outside Chicago. Pardon, Neil?
No, it's okay. Go on, Heidi. Go on.
I knew it was something sassy. No, I was born outside Chicago, but my first 5 years was Houston, Texas. So I started to speak with a drawl. And then as I got older and in my drinking ages, anytime I got tipsy, I get Southern. So as soon as I get tipsy, I start talking really Southern drawl and I get a loose tongue and I get really feisty too. And then if I really get past that tipsy point and someone pisses me off, I get Southside Chicago. So it's like I pull them all out, but I don't drink anymore. So it's just this now.
Well, I told my daughters were born south side of Chicago in Blue Island.
Okay.
Right. We lived in South Holland down by Dalton. Down where the 80 and the 94 meet.
Heading over
way down south there.
Yeah. Oh,
and I told my girls when we moved to Atlanta in 94, I said, the first time I hear all y'all come out of either one of your mouths, we're leaving.
my ex-hubby,
you have to explain to people what all y'all means. It's like, it means everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
All y'all.
Actually, when I was in the UK, all I heard people saying, you know.
I say that. You know.
You know.
What about
Yeah.
my first hubby was Conyers, Georgia. So everything was
Oh.
I'm fixing to do this and cutting to do this and
Yeah.
fixing. Everything was
Yeah.
fixing to do that.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah. And then I was shagging a Brit for a while. And now,
Yeah.
so that's like those come out. That accent.
Yeah. We
I've
have a
been around the
saying.
world, people.
We have a
And then
saying.
when you're
Sorry,
when
we have
you're
a
in
Now
the
saying.
you're
UK,
shagging another one.
and
We
when
have
you're
a saying.
when you're I remember I was in Birmingham. I had an office there for a few years, and everybody was out having a fag in the boot.
Yeah, yeah, and to
Right?
some
I was like,
people, yeah.
what's wrong with you people? No wonder we left you.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause we have a saying.
Yeah.
We have a saying in Australia, right? A gunner. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. We're going to do everything, but we never do it. So that person's a gunner.
Yeah.
Gunna.
A gunner. I'm going to do this.
Oh,
I'm gonna
someone
do that.
identifies with you. Oh, Argentina identifies. We actually were she and I were talking about that in our chat about when she came to the Midwest and the tones and things. My goodness, fixing to do this, cutting this. Yeah, when I moved to LA, I was an actor, so I would do this amazing audition and think I'm like, this, and they're like, "Can you drop the Chicago accent?" I'm like, "What?" I didn't know what never knew what they were talking about. Everything was like through my nose and nasally. And now it just depends who I talk to. I talk to my aunt and uncle from Detroit for like 10 minutes. I get off that call and I'm super Midwest. You guys are getting a lot of love in the chat, just so you know.
I like to ask Neil. I
Someone
like
can't
to
put
ask
on the
Neil a
screen.
question. I mean, you've got to be honest
Yeah,
about this.
go on,
Neil.
Terry.
When you're doing this castling thing, the castle dude stuff, and you're up in the tower and everything, and you're bursting to go and do a wee. Where do you go? No, I want no. They don't have modern bathrooms up there. They actually got like
No, they actually, yeah, they actually have medieval toilets. It's literally high up in the castle, probably on the top floor,
yeah,
and it's a hole, and it goes through. It just goes straight outside, and whatever you do runs down to the ground.
So what do you do?
And I have when I was a kid. Yeah, when I was a kid with my mates, we were at a castle, and one of my mates said that's a toilet, and we were like, no way. So we used it, and yeah. But honestly, if I need the toilet now, most castles have visitor centres and museums, so it's I tend to do it like normal people. That's one of the few normal things I still do. The rest of my life's complete chaos.
A super crazy fun fact about those medieval toilets. Now, this is pretty crazy, Professor. Last year, my daughter did an entire presentation on the medieval toilet. They were doing like new stuff that came out, I guess. But her thing was they had one brush, like a loofah brush, and everyone shared the brush. They left the same brush, and you'd have everyone using the same little wipey wipe. But
well,
sharing the love around. I mean,
the latrine models that Neil was talking about. I heard a story once that those backing up was the origin of the bidet.
Hi, Big C.
Oh,
the bidet. Yeah, the old bidet. Yeah, my auntie had one of those in her bathroom. And all the time because you had the toilet and then this thing that was kind of like a toilet next to the toilet. And I was like looking at it thinking, well, what do you do in that? Do you do a poo in that one and a wee in the other one? And, I couldn't figure it out. So I asked my mum, what's that? And she said, it's a bidet. And I was like, what's that for? She said, well, you do a number 2. And then instead of using toilet paper, you wash yourself in the bidet. And I was like, what's the point of that? I honestly couldn't work it out,
When I saw those, when I spent, I had an office in Amsterdam during the 90s for about 7 years. And when I first encountered one of those, I'd heard about them because I was, I consider myself semi-worldly. And I looked at this thing in the hotel room and I said, okay, this is the thing where it's got the hose and you you hose off your posterior orifice. And then I started looking for the blow dryer. I'm going, well, how do you dry off after all that? Because I'm certainly not.
He was bending over in front of the hand dryer.
That's what I did. He had one of those, and I said, well, I'm just going to back up the blower.
More information, but I need. I've got this picture, you know. I've got this picture.
I just
big hairy backside, you know.
Don't picture it, Terry. Don't picture it.
Oh, no. Too late.
Oh, man.
Daryl, if you want to play, I see you in there. Come, I sent you a little link, and Jim didn't view it, but I sent him a link. I don't think he sees us on yet.
He's not feeling very well at the moment. It's got all this sinus stuff going.
Oh
on.
no!
All the stuff coming in off the desert, you know.
Oh, we sent it to him because you hear this is since
Okay,
that night
your
I went
fault.
down. I sent it.
Well, that's it. We'll tell him to play mighty. You know about that, yeah. Okay.
My assistant's really sick now with it too because every fresh rain we get, it's cleared out royal blue skies, and then here they come. So you just don't know. So I'm still trying to. I'm all morning. That's my alarm clock for the kids. I'm like.
Well, I'm just going to mute my microphone for a moment. I'm just going to give the old man a call, see if he's okay.
Okay, give him our
you know,
love. Tell him to watch.
Jim
We'll
is
make him
not-
laugh.
Tell him to get well soon from us, and we're not worthy.
Jim is not a morning person at all, and technically, well, he's on the same. So he's about noon now,
Okay.
but he is a night owl. He gets me. He'll call me, and the next thing I know, we'll be about 3 or 4 hours in, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning my time, and he's finally going, well, I think my wife's gone to bed. I think I should probably go. And I said, how in the hell do you do this? So I'm closer to 70 than I am to 60. So I've noticed going through the biological changes and cycles, right? So I used to be kind of a night owl. And then during my career in technology, I was a morning person. I was up at 4 a.m. and I was at it all day long. And then after I got out of that, I kind of transitioned to a night owl, and now I sleep whenever. And it seems like, the whole thing about when we grew up being told, all right, go take a nap. It's like, nah, I don't want to do that. And it's like, now it's like nap time. Are you kidding? I'm in.
Yeah.
And I go and grab myself a 2-3 hour nap whenever it decides to show up. And I enjoyed this morning. I was up at 3:30 this morning. And I got up and I did some work, and I said, okay, well, I'm done with that. I went back to bed and slept for a couple hours, got up again. And fortunately, I did not know this was you guys were going to be on, but fortunately I got a shower in before I came on. So
Because it's smell-o-vision.
right. So this is
Old Spice.
my cleaned up self.
Old Spice. No.
A little Pierre Cardin. Or what was another one? Musk was another one that was big time back then.
Our high school's Dracar Noir.
Oh, I had to
Boy,
leave
walked by with that. It was like,
I had to leave him a
fancy.
voice message. So, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or he just didn't want to talk to you, Terry.
Probably.
Probably the latter.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it, mate.
I think I should purge.
I said, get your butt out of bed. Everybody's crashing Heidi's show, mate. We're waiting for you.
Heidi, isn't that Palo Santo?
That was Palo Santo. Yeah, I gotta cleanse this.
Palo Santo is one of my favorites. I've gotten some. I was blessed with some big sticks from Brazil, from one of the artists on my label, and I still have those. And I shave off. I do a nice little pile of shavings, and then I use those black charcoal. What do they call them? The incense burners, but it's black charcoal. You light one of those, and then I put a pile of Palo Santo on it, and then throw a little sage, a little frankincense. Oh my God,
that's smart. Look at you.
Oh, nice.
You're witchy witch right there. That's a good concoction.
Oh, it's just it makes me irresistible, and that is probably a hallucinogenic response in my own mind as a result of snorting all of that.
Is that so? That's why your channel is so popular. It's not. It's not what you're talking about.
Like,
people just want to look at you.
That's right. Like they can see the
Oh,
smell.
don't give him a big head for crying out loud. Hey, come on.
Oh man.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
what is it the ladies do? They go to the powder room, right?
Yes, they powder
Yeah.
their
It's a
nose.
funny
They
place to have. Hey,
talk about whoever's at the
isn't that-
table.
Don't you find that's a funny place to have a nose?
Wait, what? Oh, you what?
What?
Women say to each other, "Come on, let's go to the toilet and powder our nose." I don't think to myself, that's a
Tush.
funny.
Well, I think it's more polite than powder our fannies.
Wow. If you say powder your fanny in this country, you're playing a whole different ball game. You know, that's
It is
top
on.
shelf. That is top
Yeah.
shelf stuff.
That's true, though. It's true. But what I don't understand is, why do women have to go in groups? Now that worries me.
It's a gossip thing. It
That
is.
worries
It's
me.
ridiculous. Yep.
Yes,
It's
it
always
is.
about you talk about who's left at the table. And either your escape route or it's always
like,
just
hey,
a
did you
chit
see that
chat.
man at the bar? He's got a cute bar. Oh, I didn't see that. I'll have a look when I go back. Yeah, right. I know. That's where they do their networking in the toilet. All right.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
sometimes. Absolutely. That's why I don't go out anymore.
Well, we were covering a lot of subjects tonight. Anyway, back to you, Neil. This is your interview.
But Neil, I did want to ask you about you took on this new job, like and how's you're giving people. I mean, you're doing that service to humanity kind of work. That's pretty.
Yeah,
That's
well, but
beautiful.
basically, I work for local government in this country. Each county, which is England split up into counties, Wales is as well, Scotland is. They have their own council. So I work for the Shropshire Council. Our team's called Enable, and mental health professionals. So that could be doctors, mental health nurses, or therapists refer people to us who are kind of well enough so they've been through a bit of a bad time, but they're well enough and they want to get back into work, but because they've got such a gap in their employment history, on paper, if they did an application form, they're not very employable. So we're there to give them the extra support, break down the personal barriers that they have that they think is holding them back, because it's the biggest doubter of somebody is yourself. Like, it's true with me, it's probably true with you guys as well. But we always think it's what other people think of us, but it isn't really. It's what you think of yourself. If you think of yourself in a good and positive light, life will be so much better.
Yeah.
And so we're there to help people get jobs. I've been there just over a month now, and I've helped a few people already get jobs. And it is amazing because that you can see their face lights up, when they get the news and everything, and they just feel like they're worth it, and they can do something, and they're worthy of doing a job and getting paid for it as well. It's a big thing, and it could be a little job, even like a few hours a week, working in a grocery store, right up to we help doctors and like CEOs of big companies as well. So it's literally anyone and everybody.
Do you think after this video you'll still have a job?
No, I'm worse at work. You want to no.
You know what? There's another buddy that wants to say hi. Let me bring in another pal here. How's that going to push us around? Look at everybody. It's Midwest.
There he is, Gerald.
Hey, Gerald. How you doing, buddy?
Is my mic working today?
It is.
Yeah.
Give us some
you.
Chi-town accent. Midwest accent over there.
G'day, Gerald.
How's it going, guys?
Good. How are
Hey,
you?
look.
Do you know Neil? Do you know Castle?
I know Neil.
Yeah, I know Gerald and Jane, a cracking couple. Yeah, brilliant. We video called a couple of times, and I've spammed the chat in Midwest Night Watchers many times. He's nearly banned me.
I thought it was you were getting us banned. I wasn't sure which way it was going to go.
I know. I think I probably left and went to work before I got banned. Oh,
Good to
That's
see you.
beautiful.
guys.
Good to see you. How is it going over there? Is it spring yet, or are you cold?
Yesterday it was in the 60s, and it's a little cooler today because the storm went through. But we're slowly getting there.
Slowly but surely. We Southern California, Anzo, where Tim Othman is, there's snow-capped mountains right now. So that just came in again. So something else is coming your way, guys. Get ready. Sorry. We're just chatting it up with Neil. We're kind of, he's done his live stream, as we said, and we're getting him used to chatting it up with the fellas. And the pop.
Yeah. Heidi's got all these three guys here to restrain me and keep a handle on me before I get out of control.
Everyone's loving a little air time. We got to get ourselves got to spread those airwaves, spread the love through the airwaves.
Yeah, I mean it's Friday as well, isn't it? Come on,
Friday
everybody's got to have it. Yeah. I mean, I know this, I always make jokes about aliens and cryptids and stuff like that, but I will preface that by saying that, I fully believe in it, the fae, fairies, pixies, Bigfoots, dogmen, werewolves, vampires, loads, many, well, countless, infinite different races of ETs, inner earth, I believe in all of it, but I do think, and this is what I've experienced, dropping a few jokes in the chat over various different shows. People don't like it when you make jokes out of aliens or cryptids because they think you're poking fun at it. But I kind of do it in a funny way. I used to do make-up comedy cryptids, like say Beaver Man and.
There probably is one.
this cryptid actually breathes fire, so you've got a fire-breathing beaver, and it hunts men. And it's not the first time man's been burnt by beaver. So you can understand now, Heidi, why so many people have muted me and gone, pack it in, Neil.
I want to give you a spotlight. Yes, a Royal Life Machine. Absolutely, Mike.
Yeah, and then a clean one for the kids, because that was a bit blue, a bit below the belt. You get Centipede Man, and this one beats up its prey with all its 100 arms. But then he gets beat up by Millipede Man because he's got 1,000 arms, so he just punches the crap out of him.
Oh my gosh! Hey Neil,
yeah. Pixie's making up loads of different jogs like Chihuahua Man and Poodle Man. Poodle Dog Man, and they've got like pink fluffy hair and everything. And
well, speaking of Poodle Dog Man, I'm just kidding. You're bringing in all the stray cats today, Neil. Look who's coming in.
I know, everyone. Yeah.
Look who
everyone could believe it all.
Look at that.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
I was on a podcast, Danny Hendrickson out of the UK, and I just got off, and I said, I miss Heidi's program. Darn. Then I get the text from Terry saying, "Hi, we're still here. Come and join us." So I'm here. Yeah.
Come join the Neil interview.
Oh yeah. No, it sounds good. Sounds good.
Hey, by the way, Jim, that's Neil. Neil, Jim Goodall, mate.
Hi, Jim. Hey. Pleased to meet you, sir. A lot of respect for you,
Yeah, that's limited. You haven't gotten to know me yet.
Well, you're the only one that respects him. Jim's just a dirty old man, just like me. I mean, but
yeah.
I surround myself with the goodies.
Robert, how's things for you?
They're always awesome, and even better now that you're here, my friend.
Oh,
He's having trouble getting hold of the microphone, Jim.
yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm quite good with it. I was actually supposed to be doing a bunch of work right now, and you guys interrupted my flow. So now I have to regain it after all of this lovely banter and chit chat about, because there's nothing more than a lovely linguistic journey using a bunch of crazy accents that no one can understand unless they listen very closely.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
So
I speak English, but I have a hard time with Australian.
Thank you, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jim, those are all your books behind you, aren't they? Just some of the plethora. Look at you. Oh,
I had to make great toilet
Cool.
paper.
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
What
no,
was that,
I'm awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are.
We
awful.
missed it.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
missed
I
it.
am awful. I am awful.
Yeah. So
Well, happy Friday fun day.
Go on with your interview with Neil, so I can.
Yeah, well,
By the way,
actually,
Neil,
Jim.
continue, Neil.
Anyway, yeah,
I have to go
I'll
check my
carry
pups.
on.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Are we sitting comfortably?
Yeah.
Then I'll
absolutely.
begin.
Yes.
Actually, Jim, I Facebook messaged one of your photos of the Blackbird, and it was, I think you were dismantling one, and then it was going to get shipped out for its final flight. And I think I asked you a question. It was something like, A, is it possible to make a Blackbird airworthy again today?
I remember that this morning. Yeah. Said no.
Yeah, I haven't checked, because I'm so popular, Jim. I get that many notifications. I just haven't got the time.
Yeah. It sounds like bullshit to me.
It is, Jim. That's because it is.
Gerald, how's it going?
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And then, of course, always lovely Miss Heidi Pop.
G'day, Jim.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh-oh, Terry's rubbing off on me.
Yeah.
How you doing? How's your car?
Everything's good. Everything's good. I just something terrible happened to my Corvette that really had me beside myself. My horn broke. I didn't have a horn, so all I can do is roll down my window, flip the person in front of me the bird, and yell at them. So I went and had it fixed yesterday.
You gotta have one of the good ones, like do something really crazy.
Yeah. No, I had
The Blues Brothers one.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies, The Blues Brothers.
Yes,
That's a good
so
one.
good.
Yeah.
And I tell you, one of my favorite movies is Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, we've got a Groundhog Day star right here.
Yes,
What,
my
Gerald?
goat. I was in it as a kid. I was 14 or 15. I was an extra. But that was out in McHenry County, Illinois, by Rockford. Victoria, if you're still here, it was out in Rockford that they filmed most of that.
Oh, they did. I didn't know that.
Some of it, not most of it. Some of it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. One of my
Mhm.
favorite movies dealing with aliens. There's two Brits in it, and it's called Paul. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is.
that's a good film.
Heidi, you have to you look it up
Yeah.
on Netflix or whatever it is, but
Okay.
it's just
It's a funny movie. It's a funny movie.
Oh, it's a
fun.
funny
Yeah.
one.
Oh
Cool.
yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Paul, like the name, like the
Yeah,
fella.
Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig is in it, and
Oh, okay. Cool.
and
Say no more.
who are the two crazy Brits that are?
I forget their name.
Simon Pegg,
Yeah.
and I can't think of the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's priceless. It is.
That's
It's,
awesome.
And Paul the alien likes giving a brown eye at the windscreen on the car and smokes weed.
Oh man.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Oh my
You like
goodness.
it.
yeah.
You know what I'm binging right now? My nighttime little nightcap, and I love it. It's TV show Extraordinary. It's on Hulu. It's an Irish girl, and they're in UK, and they all have superpowers, and it's really funny. It's a really good one. Or Resident Alien. That's a good one too. Those are TV shows, though. I've got to find a good movie though. That sounds
Yeah.
good.
Paul
Nice.
is you'll laugh through the whole thing. and it's just cute. It is just, and the character Paul is absolutely priceless. I mean, he's what you'd think an alien should be,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just a lot. It's just a lot of fun. Yeah, the one thing, if there's nothing on the idiot box, but I still need to be entertained. I turn on ridiculousness. Have you ever
Oh
seen it?
yeah. Yes.
That is so funny. The guy
Little
pulls
skits.
stuff off the internet. No one can send him anything, and he's been doing this for 10 or 12 years. And he gets permission to use it. And some of the stuff you see, you scratch your head, and you just have to laugh, and that's funny.
Are you having a laugh?
Yeah.
Are you having a laugh?
I always have. I'm almost always in a good mood. So
Yes, you are. Absolutely.
yeah.
My only movie that I've ever
Totally,
been
Mike.
close to was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And
Yes.
Brilliant. That's a
because
brilliant
I was
film.
a nuclear armed guard at Braidwood, Illinois, and they were filming that section of the movie on the interstate in the Braidwood Inn during the movie. So I was there on set, but I wasn't part of the movie or nothing.
Oh,
But I got
darn.
to watch them do that part.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
I
That is
mean,
a
I can
classic.
relate. I can relate to Steve Martin's character. I haven't had my car catch on fire or anything, but
That'd be me and you, Jim. I'd be John Candy.
Yeah.
You'd be Steve. We'll go piss off, Neil.
It's such a great movie.
Hi, Jim. I'm back.
yeah.
As is the prof. Welcome back,
Yep.
prof.
Yeah.
I had to go take care of my four-legged furry peeps. They were going, "Hey, it's past eating time. What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh shit, I better take care of that." So they are now fed and happy and ready to go out in the little bit of rain. That storm that you were talking about, Heidi, came through here and north of me up in Colorado. I think Denver got somewhere around 3 or 4 feet
Yep.
in the last
Whoa.
couple of days.
Oh gosh.
Hey.
Okay.
By the
And I
way,
am so glad I'm not up there.
Yeah.
When I lived in Colorado, I had enough of that snow shit.
by the way, Jim,
Yeah.
I told Heidi off because she said they sent that dust storm or whatever it is to your way. So I says no. So it's your fault that gave Jim the allergies.
I
So
know.
it's her fault. I
got you.
told her
Take
off
you
about
down,
it.
Jim.
I told her
Yeah.
she
Well, we're-
admitted it.
we
We sent
have
it to her, and I know to him.
We have an 80% chance of thunderstorms later on today. So, and
There you go.
my rescue German Shepherd, she's right below me. She has her thunder shirt on. She gets absolutely terrified in this type of weather,
Aw.
and it's really
Aw.
really hard on her. So
Aw.
if every once in a while she'll jump up here, she'll try to get on top of my desk if she gets really spooked. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, there's been some craziness. I still have that crazy thing since our breakfast, Jim. Like it's every morning I'm just like cleaning out my chest. So it's still healing. It's crazy what it really attacked my respiratory. Well, that was
Well,
my
I don't know
Debbie
about
Downer.
all y'all, but
Oh yeah.
All y'all.
but I am looking forward to some of this global warming. I'm thinking that
There goes
the warmer,
all of you count went. Phew. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, we're about to get demonetized and canceled. But this global warming stuff, I spent when I first started hearing about this stuff, actually back in the 70s when they said we were going to end up in an ice age.
Yep.
And then they changed it to
acid rain, wasn't it? Something like that.
and
Yeah.
the ozone and and all this shit. One thing after another. And these scientists over the last 30, 40 years have proven themselves to be
Idiots.
less than accurate and highly questionable in all of their prognostications and predictions and all this stuff. So at first I thought global warming got to be more ecologically minded, and I'm going, well, that sounds like a really good thing. I'm all about clean water. I used to drink water out of the garden hose when I grew up in Southern California, and everything
Oh,
was
that's
safe
what
then, right?
happened. Mhm.
So I started doing deep dives into this stuff, and I said, I got to look into it because I'm one of those unfortunately cursed individuals with a insatiable curiosity and an overly fertilized field of imagination. And the more that I look into stuff, the more I find that the stuff I look into is at least 50% of it is highly questionable, and 50% of what's available is not in there. They're missing an amazing amount of actual data that should be considered in the constructs of the men, the models, the math, and the machines that come up with this crap. So I got into it, though. I got sucked right in because I was an original member of the progressive liberal movement in the 60s. And it was, our motto was, leave us alone, screw the man, and lots of free love and sex. And and drugs. And I signed up for that. And I said, I like this model. Kind of sounds like Australia without having to move there. So I thought, well, I need to look into it. So the more I looked into it, the more I found, as I said, that the majority of the stuff was extremely questionable. And then the more I dove into the stuff that needed to be questioned, the more I found that what they had proffered as facts were actually assumptions. Yeah. And that there was a whole shitload of speculation that was tossed on top of these assumptions, and that none of it is nothing more than somebody's interpretation of what they think they found based on the biases, the preferences, and the peccadillos that they've piled on top of these assumptions that are nothing more than speculations. And then I started looking at, well, what does it mean if things are actually getting warmer? What kind of an impact would that have? So I looked back over history, and I saw that every time there was a warming period is when life not only survived, but it thrived.
Yep.
There was a flourishing of life. Biology on this planet loves warmth.
And carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
And carbon dioxide. It's crap about, we got to eliminate carbon. We'll plant some trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can.
And trees love carbon dioxide,
Yeah.
but you've got to realize the motivation behind global warming is carbon tax. Remember, they're going to charge the companies money. If you more carbon you push out, the more taxes you're going to pay. But at the end of the day, the companies do not pay these taxes. We pay it on the checkout. On the checkout, we pay it. It's just another excuse. Oh, we got carbon tax. Yeah, I mean, they're still going to produce stuff. I mean, so they're going to charge out. What's the tax going to do? It's not going to change the bloody environment.
No.
Exactly.
Well, one of my favorite memes is, "Hey, I paid my taxes. The roads will be fixed any time now. The air and the pollution will be cleaned up any time now because I have paid my taxes." Well, then none of that shit ever worked out either. So then as I looked at this, I thought, well, wait a minute. Warmth is where life thrives. Mm-hmm. And if it's going to get warm, and it's a degree or two, which again is nothing more than assumptions and speculations based on shitty prognostications and predictions, of which none, zero, zip, nada has happened and occurred over the last 30 or 40 years. So clearly there's something wrong in the experts and the institutional academic authorities that have been given these positions of casting out their, this is what is, right? Well, they're all full of shit. And in the last 4 or 5 years, if you have any kind of TLA tattooed on the ass end of your name in the form of a PhD or a doctorate of this or expert of that, you are the first suspect that I am going to highly question and doubt, because they have all proven themselves to be exceptionally inaccurate and they've lost credibility. That loss of credibility is what's, I think, fueling things like what we're talking about here. Heidi does on her show, B does on his, Neil does, I do. And that is that we are the authority model that we have been under for the last several decades is crumbling all around us. And there's all of the things like B's talking about with the taxes and all of this gender shit and all of this, the nutritional side of what we are actually consuming. I love these vegans who, are always trying to make things that sound or taste like meat. Right. And I'm going, oh, wait a minute. I'm trying to understand your psychology here and what you're talking about. I eat plant-based meat. It's called a cow. And the cow eats grass, and therefore it makes meat that I then consume. And then, on the whole gender thing, about 30 years ago, when I started to dive into what these different terms of the first parts of the LGBTQEIEIO stuff. I said, what is this? I said, what is this lesbian thing?
Heidi, I'm gonna get fired. There's no hope for me. I'm gonna get bye, Neil. Don't come in on Monday.
But you're not saying this. By the way, Robert, I
don't mind actually, because you know what, Professor, I actually agree with everything you've just said. And if someone from my work sees this at some point and sacks me, then so be it, because I should not be afraid to speak my truth and have an opinion, because at the end of the day, all that woke shit and all this climate change bollocks is just that. It's a load of crap.
Bollocks. It's a load of bollocks.
Yeah.
And when you think about there's a number of memes and themes and the axioms that I have real problems with, because they're just illogical and they're not based on any kind of common sense. And one of them is follow the science. Like, well, yeah, I follow the science big time. And the majority of the science that I follow ends up in a pile of money somewhere. And then I go, well, what about all of these canceled, the Me Too stuff, just to finish off on when I figured out what a lesbian was, I realized that I was one too.
Me too. I'm a lesbian
and I said, okay.
A beer drinking dart player. I'm definitely fired. That's it. I'm gone. I'm looking for a new job come Monday.
So this whole
just blame it on the Americans. Americans are doing it.
This whole cancel culture crap. The people that get silenced and canceled and ridiculed and all of this stuff. The one thing that is, somebody asked me one time, he says, well, how do you filter out the truth? And I said, the first thing I do is go look for those who have been silenced. Mm-hmm. Because those who have been silenced are typically the ones that are speaking more of the common sense truths that we can all see and experience and feel and touch and resonate within ourselves. Because if it's really amazing, again, going back to these, authority figure folks, they say, well, this kind of speech can't be canceled. This is hate speech. It's like, well, really what it is, it's speech that you hate. It's not hate speech. It's hate speech that you hate. And if you're not saying the things that they want you to say, and the things that they want you to say aren't coming out of your mouth, then you're canceled. Well, it's all backfired big time. Everybody that they've shut down and pushed off to the side are now off doing their own independent thing. Everybody from Alex Jones to Tucker Carlson, Russell Brand, Joe Rogan, all of them. Everybody is thriving, not only surviving, but they're thriving much better than they were before when they were in the legacy media model. All of that crap is it's falling apart and it's crumbling under its own stupidity. So now that I've gotten everybody fired and canceled, I will shut up.
Now, listen, I'll tell you a brief story. Now, I've got to tell you a brief story. Many years ago in Sydney, they had this, what they call gay Mardi Gras. No, gay people don't bother me, right? But this man, it ripped off his shirt, put up a sign saying, I'm a heterosexual and proud of it. Well, you wouldn't believe, not just the gay community, but the feminist community started attacking him, saying he was a male chauvinist pig.
Yeah, see, where's the equality? They go about equality and all this, but where's it?
Those are my good parts. Yeah.
That's right. And when we had the big bushfires here in Australia, the feminist movement, who had the haircut cut really short. Now I'm not going to say why they got the haircut really short, like boys, but then again, now these firemen will go home and beat their wives because they're tired and exhausted. Right. And then there's another scenario. There's a TV ad put on the paper, on the TV, an ad, which was paid by the government, gave to the feminists. And it says violence against women. And I'm saying to myself, no. And I really complained because I say violence against anybody is wrong, male or female. It's not violence against men. And the trouble is women network, women talk, and they get advice. Women are the ones that go to the police, but a man does not go to police and charge his wife because she threw boiling water on him or hit him over the head with a rolling pin or hit him with a saucepan or give any mental cruelty. I mean, I'm not. I'm for equality. I'm a loving person. I believe equality for everybody and being caring for each other. But we've really got to say it's called mutual respect, and this is what it's got to be put out. That's the ad, mutual respect, and that's what it's. And it really pisses me off when I see movements. I mean, if somebody was criticizing a woman, I'll be pretty pissed off just the same, because women, you know what women say? All men are bastards, and that's a common saying. We hear that all the time. Maybe we are, but only to those who deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're women.
But
Yes,
then again,
Claudette, I think government does. I think the globalists do. That's just my personal opinion, allegedly. And who's gambling over there? Sounds like someone's playing the slots. Can you hear that?
No.
Every so often, it's like
No.
ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. I was just having to
No.
laugh because it was like
That's probably some feminine, esoteric, etheric spirits that are coming in and trying to infiltrate and shut us down. Because
No,
I've got
it's
one more
probably. I'll tell you what it is. It's the ghosts of lesbians coming to try and beat up Terry.
don't talk about my hair.
Well, I heard
just wondering if somebody's touching my shoulder.
I heard
see
there's a
that.
new pharmaceutical wonder that's come out, particularly targeting lesbians, and it's called Tricoxagen.
Oh, man.
I got to go. Hey, when it's your girlfriend's birthday, and you say to her,
Jeez.
"What do you want?" She says, "I've got everything." So you know what you get for a birthday? Penicillin.
You're bad.
That's what
How
you
you
give
didn't- how you
somebody
didn't
that's
get
got
that one.
everything. When somebody says they got everything they want, or they got everything, you say you're buying penicillin. That's
Well, I've got one more little rant to ensure the cancellation and dismissal of all of us.
okay. Go for it.
And
You mean a turd on the table?
I'm going to
juicy
throw a
turd?
turd on the table, and we're going to knock it around. Sue can pick up the clean end. And that's this whole.
It's already show. It's already. That's your baby, Artie.
Subscribe to Castle Dudes, everybody.
So this whole thing, we've got a lot of TLAs out there that have been tossed around and crafted and carefully curated and tossed into the conversation, causing a great deal of chaos in the social discourse. And one of them, we have ESG, right? Environmental and what is it? Environmental and social governance. That's a big thing that's been going on in the corporate world. We have the CRT, the critical race theory, which is just confused the shit out of people. And then this other one, which I think has been the most prevalent, and it has roots that we could go into that are quite interesting, that go back quite a ways, and that's this DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about what that shit is, and again, you guys know me, I have a linguistic proclivity. I like to dive into the word, understand it, and then figure out what they've done to screw it up and again create more chaos in the conversation. So when you think about the first word in that, diversity, it's like, well, shit, there's no more diverse. There's never been as much diversity right now around the world in history. There's more diversity, more connectivity, more social connectivity in a diverse way than there ever has been. And there are more people that really care about their individuality and how their individuality is diverse among all the other individuals that are out there. But they've taken it and they've said, well, diversity means we've got to have, X number of this race, X number of this gender, X number of this protected, victimized group, and all that kind of stuff. And you go, well, yeah, but that's already out there. That's already happening, especially here in the United States. We are definitely the melting pot of the planet. And anybody who challenges that and throws any kind of dispersions against it is like, well, you've got an agenda. You don't have a reality. You've got an ideological perspective that is keeping you from realizing the reality around you. Then you go to the equity thing, and this whole thing about, is something equal or is it equitable? It's like, well, those are two different words. Equality is not something. Equality is built into our Constitution, and that all men are created equal, and women, Heidi. Of course, that means women too, right? You guys, we're all equal. And if you look at, there was a recent study that came out, again, pushing this bullshit about the equal pay crap. And there's still this 80% of women only make as much as the 100% of men, and all that bullshit. And if you did, first of all, you got to remember that all studies are bullshit. Okay. You can't believe any of them unless you dive into not only the metrics in the study, but who funded it, because that goes back to when I look at the science, all I find is money. So you can find that the majority of studies, whoever funded them, are going to come up with the solution and the results that they're looking for, which is antithetical to science and the scientific method. But when you look at this pay gap thing, if you took 100 men that had the exact same job, say computer analyst, would all of them be making the same amount of money? No. They'd all have different levels that they would be at. They may have the same title, but they'd be at the different levels. Now, if you took a woman with the same skill set as a man in the same job, there's not going to be any diversity or any inequality in the pay, because it's the skill set that matters. It's the experience that it matters, the talent, the skills, the intellect that one brings to whatever that job is. So they keep pushing this crap, and it's designed to divide. And that's why there's all this consternation and chaos within the conversation. And then the last one you get to is this inclusion crap. Inclusion? Well, isn't that diversity? Isn't that what we're doing when we have all these diverse people and different, all kinds of different classes of people? And then that gets to the final point, which is the one that will really get us canceled. And that is this whole idea of having to have diversity, equity, and inclusion has done nothing but create a race to the bottom. What it does is it says that it's not about the skill set. It's not about the experience. It's not about the capability. It's about leveling that playing field in some imaginary construct that says it's not the best person for the job. It's the numbers that we have identified as our being adhering to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that is causing all kinds of stuff, not only in the business world, but in the social fabric. You have more pissed off women on drugs now than you ever have had.
It's frightening.
There are more medicated people, particularly of the feminine strain, they are so pissed off. If you look at people that are in this politically ideological, liberal, progressive mentality, the majority of them are a bunch of really pissed off people. And all you got to do is look at their face and you go, I don't think that person is well. I think that person has some issues. And what's happened in addition to that is you've got all these pissed off women yelling at the men. And what's happened to the testosterone rates in the last 20 years? It's taken a big dive. So you've got these emasculated men being run by these pissed off women. And that's why, Terry, like you were saying, men are not going and reporting that their wife beat the hell out of them. You have the pussification of men that's happening all around in all these societies. Men have become emasculated because women, there are a whole bunch of them, and I'm not saying they're all like this. None of this is all. It is only specific groups, but they have taken over with this pissed off perspective, and they've pushed that on the men who have become a bunch of pussies. And what we need now is we need dads. We need the testosterone-based toxic masculines. We need more of them back into the world and to help correct a lot of this crap. And I, for one, am taking on that challenge. I will help, and I will put my testosterone into any environment where it's called for, and I will be proud for it, and I will not step away or back down from it. So
And I love to open up a car door for a lady and pull out a seat and sit her down as well. I mean,
the
chivalry is
traditional
not
chivalry
dead.
of men and the way that we used to be
Yes.
100 years ago is what's needed now. We need to help clean up this crap, bring men back, bring real women back, bring back the essence of the divine feminine, the divine masculine, the origins and the essence of what that is, so we can clean up the crap that all these idiots have created.
And get rid of the throwaway society, and let's fix things instead of throwing it away.
Right. What, Neil? What?
And I was going to say, and stop telling little Jimmy that actually he could be Gene, but he just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
That's a part of what's
on. They need I'm
definitely fired. Yeah, don't worry about it. Well, so I may as well carry on now. So here we go. Just so nobody offends me, I actually self-identify as a porcupine. I'm non-spinary.
So if you're touching, you get pricked. Okay.
All you guys are going to hell. You do know that. There's going to be a knock on the door.
I can't tell you how long I was sitting waiting for Professor's final mic drop so we can throw out that tricox again, because that's the prescription they need. It didn't land right. Professor, you're talking about the ongoing Civil War. We're paying repercussions for something ages ago, but we're still in the middle of a Civil War, and they keep manufacturing it, keeping the Civil War. And it's like, divine mask, divine femme, let's do this. Yeah, where's the men? That's why I bring you all gentlemen on. You're my divine masculine team. It's true. I think you're very kind. You're all good-hearted humans. And I got a read on Jim in the flesh. And I'm like, he's one of the good ones. Held the door. Yeah.
We know that. Yeah. He's a sick bugger. He's a real sick bugger, mate. But he's one of the good ones, though.
But that's are you having a laugh? Like, you got to have a laugh. So
it's right.
Sickness doesn't hurt anyone.
That's how I see a lot of podcasts these days. Everybody's kind of put on this. They've got the authority of knowing. Well, people have got to realize everybody's speculating. Really, at the end of the day, unless you've got something tangible in your hands and say, here it is, see it. You can feel it, touch it, smell it, kiss it, do whatever you want to do. That's real. Just because somebody wrote a book about something doesn't. They're only an expert on their own assumptions, their own research. That's all they are. It's but when they say it's real, well, I just say, okay, we'll wait and see. But you can't take it literally. And this is what I hate about ufology today. I mean, there's too much BS going on. A lot too much. Anyway, that's my.
I'm right there with you, Pixie, paranormal Pixie, Laura. Yep. Can be all
by the way, Gerald,
and then you can get a little scrappy.
How are you, mate? I haven't said hello to you.
How you doing?
I'm all right, mate.
I was just going to respond to your statement that I still don't know if Australia exists. I've seen it in books, and they wrote books about it, but I've never been there, and I've never seen it, so I don't really know if it exists or not.
Actually, there's a few people around saying Australians are actors. We don't really exist. We're all just here. We're a government conspiracy. Australia does not really exist. And I'll tell you now this for sure. Australia is a really horrible place to live. We've got spiders, crocodiles, sharks, you know. And the beaches, they're crap, mate.
Like nobody else come.
And the air is so polluted. Honestly, it's really bad here. Don't ever come.
You do have the most deadly animals,
worse
don't
than
you?
where I live in Illinois, so don't even try.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Robert will remember what Southern California was like in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, amen.
I mean, I worked on Sunset Strip for Xerox, and on the corner of La Cienega and Sunset, you're looking due west at where the Catalina, Santa Catalina is located. I was up there for working in an area for a year, and one day I stopped to get, I was walking somewhere to get a cup of coffee, and I'd look down La Cienega, and the Santa Anas had been blowing, and all the smog was clear, and you could see Catalina, and you could see, and to the north you could see the Channel Islands.
Mm-hmm.
And that same morning when I got up, I was living in North Hollywood, and I'd head to the San Diego Freeway, no, the Ventura Freeway, to catch the San Diego to get to work. I got lost because I hadn't seen the Hollywood Hills before. I'd been there about 6 months, and it was so smoggy. I didn't know on just the other side of the Ventura Freeway was the Hollywood Hills.
Wow.
And it was totally,
Oh
where the hell am
my
I at? You know,
gosh.
so I was lost. Then I realized that's always been there. It's just the smog was bad. Today, you go to LA, you can see, the skies, a lot of times is blue.
Yeah.
But they
It's
say,
way
mate, where's the
better.
global warming though? Where's the global warming and the pollution? I mean,
Oh,
where is it all? I mean,
and
it's supposed to be worse.
in 2009, I went on a cruise from Vancouver, BC, up through the Inland Passage and went to Skagway, Juneau, Ketchikan, Skagway, and then into Whittier. But when we're going into Glacier Bay, they gave us a map, and I wish I'd have kept it. It showed where the glacier was when Captain Cook found Glacier Bay, and it was almost right at the Gulf of Alaska. And then they had some other dates in there, and then back in the 1880s, 1890s, that Ansel Adams was there taking pictures, and this thing had already receded 32 miles, 34 miles, and that was before the Industrial Revolution got really big, or that there was a lot of pollution. So where in the hell did it happen? Oh my God! Maybe it was the fact that the ice age has been coming to an end for the last 20,000 years, and that's just a natural progression. You have to remember, at one time in Detroit or in the Chicago area, you were under 2 miles of ice. Where did that all go? Is that global warming? Yeah, it's the Earth warming up. It goes through those cycles. We're actually, according to unpolluted data, I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, I just started that. I could hear that. Oh, there it is. Anybody have it live going?
No,
I
no,
turned-
I'm all right.
I just muted my mic to check, but I could still hear the echo.
Yeah, it's just
See,
coming
yeah.
in.
Let me see if I'm.
They're
I've only
coming
just
for
started.
us.
No.
It's only just started.
Yeah.
Oh, I got nothing
It's
else
the
open.
it's. I think it must be the feminist movement or something.
I was just gonna say
They've hacked us.
Yeah.
they're coming in. It's Neil's company.
Yeah,
Watching.
it's my fault. It's blame it on the English guy.
If you think back in the 70s in Japan, everybody used to wear face masks because of the pollution.
1870s or 1970s, Terry?
Whoa. That was a massive delay there.
Mate! Hey, now you're hitting below the belt now, Jamie. No, but in the 70s, everyone in Japan used to wear face masks. In the 1900s, you couldn't see the streets in London with the smog, right? So everywhere is cleaning up. So where's this bloody air pollution that we're supposed to be having, And people forget, when glaciers melt, they go through what they call 40-year freeze, 40-year melt. And that's the cycle they go through.
Yeah.
And then you look at the west of Antarctica. Why the ice sheets melting? They say it's because of global warming. No, they don't talk about the active volcanoes 2 miles under the ice, exploding, cracking it off, sending out all this magma and stuff. Yes, they say, but don't you know anything about how the heat freezes quicker? And I say, yes, if you're looking at water, but when you're looking at magma that can actually disintegrate a human being, and it's also erupting, it's like an explosion. It's like you can hold a firecracker in your hand, and you can blow up in your hand, and it doesn't hurt. Just like singe a little bit of your fingertips, right? Hold it in your hand and grip it, and it'll blow your frigging hand apart. And that's exactly what's happening in Antarctica at this moment. But nobody talks about that because on the other side of Antarctica, where it's not melting, it's only on one side. Strange about global warming, isn't it? How it's only hits a particular spot.
To Jim's point about the glaciers and the melting, one of the things that they find when these glaciers retreat is a whole bunch of vegetation
Yeah.
and forests and and civilizations even. And you go, well, so apparently the ice wasn't there a long time ago, and then the ice came and covered it up. I mean, all you have to do is spend about 10 minutes of just observational neutrality looking at the data, and you can go, well, yeah, I got more questions, because every time I look at the answers that you're giving, they bring up more questions like, how did you get to that answer? What did you use to come up to that conclusion, or more accurately, assumption? Because all of it is speculation, as B was saying earlier. The people are doing nothing but speculating on what they think they want to hear and say so that they can herd the sleeple. Because it's all about getting everybody into a mindset of constant confusion and chaos so that there is a natural division that occurs. We are inundated with a deluge of data, a tsunami of information that we have not been, not only are we not prepared for in our own energetic frequencies, but because in the education system, or the schooling system more particularly, we were taught, and Jim, Terry, Gerald, you guys all know this, when we grew up, we were taught how to think. But in the last 30 years, it's been replaced with what to think. It's easier to adopt and be given what you should be thinking rather than do it yourself. And we're so inundated with all this information that it's like, well, shit, how do I sort through all this stuff? How do I make sense out of all this crap? And it's like, well, the easiest thing to do, in my opinion, is see what resonates. If somebody is telling you something, how do you feel about it? What does it make you feel? How did they present it? Is it been presented to you with a high energetic emotional content? Has there been a lot of volume in it? Well, that's the first thing, is got to be your flag. It's like, if you've got to yell at me and you've got to have a high emotional content and trying to get me to say the words that you're saying and have them come out of my mouth, you're immediately off to the side. You are not something that I'm going to pay attention to, because it just doesn't make any sense. If you can't explain something concisely and precisely with calmness and logic and reason, then you really don't have a grasp on what it is that you're examining or what you're trying to share. But more importantly, you haven't internalized it. These people that have been victimized by they're in the victimhood class, and that's another one of the things that are used to create all of this confusion and chaos, is there's all these victims, and they have been created by all these victimizers. So the people that are pushing that crap are the ones that are coming up with all these categories and then pushing it onto the categorized, and who become catalyzed. And the next thing you know, it's like, well, shit, there's people aren't doing their own thinking. You
want to say something, Gerhard?
Well, I just want to ask Neil, before, what school was like for you in the UK when you were young, like young versus what you see now.
Well, put it this way. I'm glad I went to school back in the late 80s and the 90s. Like, if I went to school now, I probably wouldn't even be alive, with the crap that
you'd still be in the salon
down their throats. I mean, I won't go into the detail, but in Scotland, their education is governed by the Scottish government, so it's not governed by Westminster and all that, the Houses of Parliament. And there was a journalist, and he was reading them an excerpt of sex education that they teach to 8-year-old kids, and he started reading out. I'm not going to repeat it because it's incredibly, it's pornographic, is what it is. But they're teaching this to 8-year-old kids, and the journalist started reading it out, and the Scottish politician on the stage and everybody shouted him down, and they got the security to kick him out. But he was saying, look, if you can teach this to 8-year-old kids, why can't I ask it in a press conference? But they just got rid of him, and they carried on, asking different questions. So, yeah, I mean, when I grew up, it was pretty standard. I was always playing outside with my mates, riding our mountain bikes, push bikes, making dens, climbing trees. Yeah, we did play video games, but all the cool mates had like Super Nintendos and everything like that. We couldn't afford that when I was growing up, so I used to go around my mate's house to play video games, watch wrestling as well, because your cool mates had Sky TV over here to watch American TV. It's called Sky. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, I had a wicked childhood. Yeah, and I'm really glad that I was born in the 80s. You know, and I was kind of made in the 90s, and I left school. 2001 is when I left school. You know, like senior school at the age of 16. I did college for 2 years. I started a university, which is what you guys call college, you know, the expensive one. But I dropped out of that. It wasn't, you know, I was learning environmental science, and they were, you know, you were going on about the climate change and stuff.
Oh,
That's
I
all
hear
you would,
you.
yeah. And I was like, you know what, I'm done with that. So yeah, but yeah, growing up in this country, my family was incredible. You know, my mum and dad, they were brilliant. We weren't loaded, you know what I mean, but we weren't poor. You know, we were fed, we were clothed, and we had a good upbringing. And I was actually, we were taught right from wrong, and this is what kids
Morals.
aren't. They're not taught respect, and we were always. This was one.
consequence for the
There's a
bad.
difference between abuse and discipline.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
A totally
Yep.
different.
Yep.
I was
Well, it
raised.
also starts young. Oh, it starts really young, like early childhood. My little buddy at school, one of the teachers is a male teacher in early childhood, and he's the gentlest. Talk about gentle giant, but you just give them it's like authoritative but firm and direct, and that's it. And it's just like, we're doing this now. You are lining up. We are doing that. And the kids are just get it. The whole sing song. How do you know that the feelings that came later in my grades and stuff? But when they're young, they need authority slash, it's all
Boundaries.
energy. Kids pick up on the energy frequency. If you're delivering it to them from the heart, they get it. The words are just, there. Okay. Sorry, James, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going off on the
No, I
kid thing.
just I can't remember where in the hell I was going, but I lost
Sorry.
track. It'll come back.
Well, one of the
Sorry.
things that I think all of us here remember and were taught to varying degrees is the axioms of the importance of the self and the components of being accountable, responsible, and having your own integrity about being who you are. Now, I know that, when I grew up, my family was, Midwest, Oklahoma and Kansas, and their lineage is Irish and German and English. So a lot of the things that I remember, I knew my boundaries. I knew how far I could go and where that line was. And if I stepped over that line, that was maybe one more time I did that. But after that, I knew that where the lines were. And I learned the accountability of being respectful of what I was told were the lines and what was acceptable and what wasn't. So accountability, integrity, responsibility, those of self, of not just your immediate family and friends, but being trustworthy in those things and understanding and learning how important those components are to just being true to yourself. And all of that stuff has been tossed aside. It has all kinds of different reasons and excuses that people have put on those. Well, you don't have to be accountable. You're in this victim class. You don't have to be responsible. You are in this victim class. You are in this categorized group of being diminished for some reason and not having as much equity or opportunity or equality or whatever the hell it is that they've thrown into the conversation to create this chaos within the conversation within yourself.
Mhm.
I don't know about you guys, but whenever I need expert advice, I talk to myself.
Me too.
Higher self.
I have
He's a
great.
skit show.
Sometimes I
He's a
have to
skit
repeat.
show.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to
I
repeat.
talk to Terry. I talk to Terry. That's why my life's a mess.
That explains everything, Neil.
I'm joking, mate.
You
Joking.
just categorized yourself.
I was wondering why you did everything
Guilty.
upside down.
Guilty.
I mean,
But now listen, I'm gonna confess something here. I'm gonna confess this. I'm a horrible dad. I really am a horrible dad.
I know that.
My children, I mean, I'll be in the shops with them, and if any of my children start saying, oh, I want this, I want that, I used to turn around, and the looks I used to get off people, I'll look at them and say, do you want a public flogging? People look at me and say, oh, yeah, but I didn't, right? But now, have I ever smacked my kids? I've got 3 of my own children, yeah, and guess what? I've smacked them all once, really good. And when I say smack them, it was a leather belt off my waist, folded up, and they got the most hardest welts across their back sides. Now, three welts across the back side. Now, this is how I worked it. For years, I'll say to my kids, go to your bedroom and think about what you're doing. If you're going to carry on like this, I'm going to smack you. But Dad never smacks them. But Dad waits until they're old enough that they can handle the punishment. And this is what they don't understand. Now, when they get around about 8 or 9 years of age, when they're getting a little bit tough and a little bit more cheekier, I'll say, go to your room and stop this. Otherwise, I'm going to give you away. Well, don't they get a surprise when they don't stop because Dad goes in? I literally pull their pants down and they get my leather belt right across their backside 3 times. And I said, are you happy now that you've made me smack you? Now, next time, just listen to me. And guess what? Listen. I never, ever, ever, ever again had to raise my hand to those children after that.
I get it.
Now, after that, I never had to, because when Dad says that's enough, go to your room and think about it. Literally, my children would come out and say, sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
They will come back and say, sorry, Dad. Yeah. I wasn't being awful to my kids. I was being cruel to be kind. And I'm teaching them discipline and respect to listen to me, you know. Otherwise, if they don't listen to me, they're not going to listen to Jim Goodall. They're not going to listen to anybody else. They're not going to take. No, that's right. They wouldn't. You've got to teach them. You've got to teach them to take notice of what they're doing and how it's affecting people around them. And if you don't teach them, well, this is why
I
people
think it's
today.
less physical. Less. What was it? What was the thought?
That's my generation. That's my generation.
I was going to say, because today it's less physical. I think it's easier because there's gadgets and things now. So the
mind games. It's all mind games
for the day. We'll take the screen time away for the week or something. Is like, you talked off.
Or just taser them.
Everything cutting their arm off.
Hey, they need a safe place to go now because their bloody feelings get hurt. I need a safe place because my feelings are.
I do give a lot of love. I do see when there's a reaction. I don't get it very much with my kids, but when there's with other kids, and I see them in the store, or if I have a teen. She doesn't pop off. We just talk. But if I've seen someone do it, I'm saying, okay, their needs aren't being met. What's going on? What's making them behave this way? You need a safe space, but like obviously they haven't been heard, or like a kid in my class. He's really the rambunctious, crazy one. And I notice his parents are divorcing. He does no one who listens to him. He just gets told where to go. So he's extra. And sometimes it just takes me putting my hand on his back of like I'm right here for him to just be like, okay. He simmers a little. There's just so many. I can't imagine. My sister still talks to this day. She's 52 about the Dr. Scholl. My mom took off her Dr. Scholl and was like, never did it. But she's like,
my mom would use.
And it was a hard one, a wood one.
Mm-hmm. My mom would use a wooden coat hanger. She'd slap me, and that wouldn't do any good. So she'll get a coat hanger and start hitting me. I mean, and I'd start laughing at her. That's what I get crazy.
Oh no!
And you get it worse, and you get it worse when you laugh.
Yeah, and I had, but one thing, I was raised under military dictatorship. My father was born and raised in the military. He went to military school. He went to West Point. He was a military officer in World War II, and he never left that sense of order. And on 2 different occasions, I can remember once I think it was about the smart ass age, was 13, I think, when you really get to be just a little asshole. I'm in the kitchen. I didn't realize my dad was standing right next to me, and my mom said something, and under my breath, I said "F you."
Oh.
And next thing I knew, I went through the closed back door of the house. My dad came back, a backhand right here. I went flying through the insert, which you took out during the summer, because it was acted as a screen door. And I'm in the backyard with blood pouring down my nose, and my father said, if I ever see that again, we'll visit you in the morgue. Basically, you do not disrespect your mother. And I did it one more time. This is a couple of years later. Mom was ironing my dad's white shirts, starch white shirts. It's back in the 50s. And Mom told me to go did something. And I said, well, I basically said, under my breath again, kiss my ass. And again, boom. And now I'm just blood just pouring out of my nose. And I'm leaning over my father's white shirt. So my mother has in the basket that's damped, just bleeding on. Now she got all the blood out. But
oh my goodness.
I mean, that's the way my father was raised. He learned. He grew up in Panama. He grew up in Panama, and my grandfather also at James Goodall. But wanted to teach my dad how to swim, so he went out, and this is on the Pacific side, about 100 yards from shore, and my grandfather threw him in the water. This is shark-infested water, by the way. and he kept the boat about this far away from my dad's wailing arms. He says, well, keep going, you're doing good. And as he's rowing back towards the shore, my dad finally, learned how to swim that day.
That's how my dad learned how to swim. Yeah, they threw him in Lake Michigan.
Yeah, but
my father did the same.
Dad said they would, as kids, they would go to the commissary and get a big chunk of suet or fat from the garbage. And they had one of the kids had an old jalopy, and they had a I think 1/8-inch cable with a pulley on it, and they tied one end to the pier, and then they'd row out as far as they could, and they had a float, and they had a big hook with this chunk of meat on it, and the other part was hooked to the bumper of this jalopy. And all of a sudden, we'd see that that float just go boom. We've been hit, and they'd start the car up and drag it up. They pull up 10, 12-foot, man eaters, where he was learning how to swim. That's what they did for fun.
I've done that in Australia. I've done that in Australia as well.
Yeah, and
But man-eaters, we're circling back to the feminists now.
Yeah.
See how that works?
Oh, Heidi, nice.
Nice one, Heidi. We're rubbing off on a gentleman.
Heidi's on the ball. She's on the ball. Yeah.
Kids today don't know how to have fun. When I was about 10 or 11, that was sort of my juvenile delinquent beginnings. Mm-hmm. Rusty Brown, I think Alan Holmes, and myself, we're playing on this train. It's on a siding. It's in Mountain View. There's about 10 cars on it. And Rusty goes up. He's up on the cab of the diesel, and it's just sitting there idling. This is on a weekend. And he says, hey, the thing's not locked. So we go in there. Thing is running. And they apparently didn't lock switches back then, because it was a north-south line. We're on the south pointing one. We started this thing up. We took 10 cars through Sunnyvale, which was a 5-mile-an-hour zone, doing about 60, blasting the horn the whole way. We got into San Jose. We managed to find a way to move some switches. We parked it on a siding. And we played around the switchyard until we knew that we have to get back before curfew. Now we're 14 miles away, and we know there was a freight train heads north to San Francisco in the evening. And we jumped on that train, so we turned it up. And when we got into Mountain View, we knew where we were going to jump off. It was an area with ice plant. You're going to get greened out. You're going to look like Kermit the Frog, but you're not going to get hurt. So we bailed off of it. It's now past curfew, and back then curfew was something you really took in consideration. And so what are we going to do? So we're at the train station. So we go into the train station. There's no one there. We take the cigarette machine. We take it. We turn it upside down and shake it. And we got about 20 packs of cigarettes. and maybe $20 worth of nickel, dimes, and quarters. And then we figured, now how we're going to get from where we're at to Rusty's house, because we were camping. Oh, there's a very, very nice blue and white step van right next to the train station. We can put our bikes in there. It said U.S. Postal Service on the side, but we ignored that. We hot wired it, drove it within about a quarter of a mile of Rusty's house, because we were camping out in his backyard. And the next thing I knew was about 3.5 weeks later, we heard some kids at lunch. One of the kids' dads worked for Southern Pacific, or it may have been Santa Fe, but one of the whoever owned the train that we borrowed. You can't steal a train. And he said, heard this kid talk. He said, yeah, Dad said they misplaced a train. They didn't know how in the hell they got to San Jose. And they've been looking at it for 3.5 weeks. That was my train that we borrowed. So and today's youth lack imagination. We had a lot of imagination back then. I mean, I look back now and I'm absolutely dumbfounded I made it this far.
Jim, do you remember
Here's-
the 5-speed Stingrays with the banana seats and the sissy bars, and
Well,
then
that
putting the playing cards on the
Oh, absolutely.
spokes with a
Yeah.
We did that as well. Yeah,
clothespin.
we did that.
We did that. Now I hear what you're saying, and I know it's scary thinking what's happening to kids, but I'm surrounded by them. They're the most creative, imaginative kids. Please check out my reels and hit like and subscribe, because
Yeah.
they're just a stick in a
They're awesome.
ball.
They are
Stick
awesome.
and they yarn. They made a bow and arrow, and they're busy for an hour. Like there are some really creative, imaginative kids out there. They just need to be.
But
They
then they
need to find each other.
kill that
But-
imagination as they go up in grades.
Well, the screens, I think, are killing it. I think the tech
Yeah.
is killing it. The tech is killing it, and the parents think they're being cool. Tech and pharma killing generations. But with that Debbie Downer note, I do have to wind it down because I have to be somewhere in 30 minutes. But I want to.
Oh, you can come back. We'll stay here. You can go back. You can go. We'll stay here. And
We'll
look after it.
You gotta keep them wanting more, Mr. Bay. But
No, I tell you, look, the guys have looked. Let's face it, the guys have done that to me. Many times I'm saying I've got to go now. And they look at me and say, "What?" Now we're doing it. Now I have the privilege of doing it to you.
I mean, one of the last times that that the three of us, I think Gerald, you were in there too. We went over 5 hours.
I know. I heard about that.
And-
I heard about that.
And I think we could have gone longer, but I think we're all losing our voice.
Well, I want you guys to each ask Neil a question too. This is we're popping his live stream. Well, he did his live stream, first live stream. This is first little show with others kind of thing. So everybody ask him a question. He's Castle Dude.
Okay, make it a good one. Make it funny.
He might have a show and
How
tell in a
about
minute, too.
Neil? How about coming to join the boys on our shows?
Of course, yeah, I'd love if that's all right with you guys. I would love to.
I know it's very early
Yeah.
in the morning for you, but these boys have got a set time. Otherwise, I'll have to talk to them to rearrange the times to suit you.
No, no, you shouldn't have to rearrange your schedule just for one person. Like I'll figure something out and make it happen. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Anyway, I want to see more castles. Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I want to see more hauntings.
Weekend, mate. Yeah.
I want to see more hauntings. And actually, I would like to do a show with you one day with the boys while you're walking around the haunted streets and that, and Jim.
Yeah. That would be so cool. Then you could be telling me where to go and what to say and what to do.
Oh no,
Neil, jump out of that window.
I'll just put you on the larger screen, I'll just put you on the larger screen. So we just go to the side and you can give us the tour around and a bit different. Say, what do you reckon, guys? Sound good to you guys? Yep.
That'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And Heidi, I don't know if you saw my responses on your post from last night when you had your gold outfit on.
I was telling them about that before. Thank you for that. That was 3 years ago. I was at a ball, and there was a lot of disclosure community there. I was interviewing them. It was like my first. I'm going to start live streaming, but yeah, I get dolled up. I got a little
Yeah.
dolled
Oh
up,
boy,
didn't
you
I?
sure did. You sure did.
Thanks, pal. Thanks,
So,
pal. Oh, Terry's having a party now.
yeah.
Who else
Yeah.
has a question for Terry? I mean, for Neil, before look at because I'm gonna Mr. Mike Holtz. Thank you. Neil Castle tours are amazing. And yeah, Castle
Oh,
at
thanks,
Castle
Jane.
Dude is
Thank
his
you,
YouTube
Jane.
channel. I'd love for you all to subscribe and check out his
Well,
lives. Plus, he's got
actually,
really funny shorts.
I've got to quickly, sorry to interrupt you there,
Yeah,
Heidi. I've got to
please.
quickly mention Jane is now called Gain. Since
Gain,
last week,
Carol and
yeah,
Gain.
I said hi, Gerald, and get because I was a bit nervous on my first live, and then Cheryl pops in. I went, hi, Gerald and Gain. Everyone was like, just laughing at me. So we call it Gain.
Okay. She's smart. She's smart. She's got game now. Yeah, that's
So I've got a question for you, Neil.
Okay, then, Prof.
What is
Shoot.
it? What is it that motivates you to do these castle tours? What is it that makes you want to go and be in these places?
That's a good question. I just have an affinity ever since I first visited a castle when I was a very young kid. I just felt like I'd been in those places before. Every single castle that I've been in, and like the medieval period especially, it's like I've lived that before, and I don't know if I have. I may have done. I might not have. I might just really think that's a cool period of history, and like I would have wanted to have lived then, you know. So I don't know. I just love it. I'm fascinated by the stories, you know, the battles between kings and queens and different families and the power struggles and the stuff that was happening.
Are you talking about today in the UK?
Yeah, Jim. I was literally going to say the stuff that was happening thousands of years ago, the power struggles. It's just repeating itself through history, and it's the same thing. Only this time, instead of kings and queens, there's still kings and queens knocking about, but they're almost like figureheads now. It's governments that are, you know, buying for power and stuff like that. So yeah, and I don't know. And with doing the YouTube thing, I started really watching, you know, alien stuff and like you could call it the paranormal, the truther community. Back in 2020, really, you know, with the whole thing that was going on then, there was nothing much else to do, really, you know. So yeah,
well,
and
as a follow-up to that, as a part of what you said, have you ever encountered or had any supernatural experiences in any of these castles?
Yeah, literally, the beginning of this show, the first castle that I did, I went there on a Sunday morning, and this castle, it's known to be cursed locally. Like we've known it since we were kids. It's well known. I have done some research. There is a book somewhere, and it's very hard to find, but it has been printed with the full detailed story of this curse. But anyway, it was a freezing cold Sunday morning. I was walking around this castle, doing a walk and talk, holding my phone like that. You know, if anyone was looking out of their window, because there was a couple of houses by there, they'd be like, what the hell is that guy doing freezing cold? You know, and I went on into this interior section, and it had it was the old kitchen, and it had a cellar, you know, and it was pitch black down there. And I walked round, and there was a big, massive, like medieval arch window, and I was looking at that, and I turned around like that, and just as I turned around, I said, "Whoa," because I was looking down at this dark cellar, and it was creepy. And then a few days later, someone commented on my video, and he said, "You need to check this time out. You know, you caught something." And I scrolled back, and it was a little head, almost like a peachy head, and it was peeping on me, and it just went like really quick, like. But it was yeah. And as soon as I looked at that, because I'd edited the video, you know, badly because I'm not very good, but I give it a go. So I'd watched that, and I completely missed it because it's so quick. It's like it's less than a second, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know, you're looking for that. And then as soon as I saw it for the first time, I had the chills. I was like, whoa. And like, I believe that is something connected to this curse. So yeah, and about 10 years ago, my brother went there with his mates, and they went into that underground cellar. And he got his phone out, put it on the voice recorder, and he said, "Hello, is there anyone there?" They didn't hear anything, so he stopped it, played it back, and after he asked the question, he hears the weirdest fast forwarded scream, and like they both, you know, crapped themselves, and they just got out of there and they never went back. So yeah, but apart from that, I had last week, I did a live in Stoke-on-Trent. Apparently the most haunted street in England. People have seen Victorian ghosts just on the front doorstep and said hello, and they've said hello back. A black cat has walked in front of them and just vanished into thin air. They've heard arguments in these houses, but the houses have been abandoned for like probably 100 years, more than 100 years, and they're boarded up shut. And
bricked
you
up
know,
too, aren't they?
yeah, and they're bricked up, and they've got metal panels over the brick as well. Like, they really don't want people to get in, you know. So why they've left them there, I have no idea. But they're just there like a time capsule. There's 4 little terrace, 2 up and 2 down. So I don't know if you probably don't have those in America, but they're tiny houses. You get a front room, a back room, and then 2 rooms upstairs, and then your front room is, yeah.
They call them terrace houses. Anyway, you're going to be late, Heidi.
I know. Mike
yeah.
was saying
Sorry.
that. I got at least. I'm watching the time though, but he's got a good question here. I know you talked about the visitor center bathrooms, but do you go to the towers? Do you see that
I
one?
mean, I don't know. I've never. Do you know what? Funnily enough, luckily, I've never been caught short up a castle tower yet. Now, having said that, I probably will need to go, and it just depends how busy the castle is, because there's always a pause button on the camera, so I can pause it, take a leak, and then carry on. Nobody's none the wiser.
Hey, but you know what? I believe every time he leaves these castles and he hears something, his underpants are brown.
I must admit, I was scared last week.
Have you shot
I was weirdly, I was the most scared at a nunnery. You know, and normally I'd be happy with the attention of nuns, but
that was dark. That was dark. That was spooky.
When I was the curator at the Pacific Aviation Museum in Pearl Harbor, both Hangar 37 and Hangar 79 were haunted. I've been in there late at night when there's nobody in the building. This is a 110,000 square foot hangar, and I hear conversations. And I go look around. I get my high intensity flashlight. Is there someone in the hangar? And there isn't. My boss would hear it in Hangar 37. He'd be there late at night, like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and he'd hear a conversation, in the exhibit area, and he'd go out and take a look. I mean, he could hear the conversation until he walked into the area, then the conversation quit. He'd go back to his office, and they'd get back talking again. So, are there spirits and ghosts out there? Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I was here before. I know I was here during the French Revolution, and it was actually a chick flick that you probably saw it, Heidi. It's called Dangerous Liaison with John Malkovich.
Oh, sure.
I was John Malkovich in France during the French Revolution. I know it. I mean, I related to that. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me.
I resonate with that. Believe it or not.
I mean, that's a pirate. Never mind.
Neil, does Monty go with you on these walks? The wiener
no,
dog?
I mean,
he's a
no,
wiener,
I
right?
mean, he would get me kicked out because he just barks at everybody, anything and everyone. You know, he's the smallest dog, but he's got the loudest bark, and I get all the people glaring at me, blaming the owner. But the way I see it is, you know what, he's a dog, he barks.
Hey, but
You know,
personally,
you know.
when
Yeah.
you're going around a place like that haunted street, the short street, or the monasteries or anything like that, I'll take the dog if there's nobody else around, because dogs can actually sense things and pick it up, and it might give you a bit of a, oh, what's going on here?
That is true. Yeah,
Hey,
that is true.
Montevision. It's Montevision.
Montevision.
They're just joining. Neil started by doing the videos with your dog, right? It was just little happy hello care shares and stuff. And then you turned into, you know what, I'm going to visit some castles. And then it was like, then the little peachy head popped in, and it's like, boom, he's castle dude.
Castle dude's got to save his money now, because to really get involved, he'll need to travel all over the UK now, especially up to Scotland and some of those castles. That'd be great, you know?
Yeah, that would be,
My son just did our
get
family
your monetized first, and that can pay for it, you know?
Yeah, that'll pay for itself then. My son did our genealogy report. We had, none of us had any idea we had have Scottish in us too. So, and so that's, I'd be very curious to see. But he did say when we come over, because the giant said we're going to go to Wales at some point, Mr. Neil's going to give us some tours.
I will do.
Awesome.
I will do. And yeah, if you're coming up to North Wales, we have to visit Anglesey. I don't know if you've been there before, but
I've never been anywhere.
I went camping there. We were in the Cub Scouts. In this country, we have beavers for the little kids, Cubs and Scouts. It's the same thing where you do camping and map reading and exploring and building campfires and stuff like that. Well, anyway, we went camping there for a week, and it was the best place. And I just fell in love with the place. It was only a tiny little island. We went swimming. We explored the entire island. And I came back home. I went through the front door. I was only about 11 years old. And Mum said, "Did you enjoy it?" And I just burst into tears. And I said, "I want to go back." And I was devastated, you know. That's never happened to me before at any location that I've been to. So, yeah, we'll visit there for sure.
You're feeling drawn to it. Well, this was exciting to be able to pop for Cherry again. Or the show Cherry. I'm trying to make it funny again. I don't know. There's truth and comedy.
Well, the one thing I was going to add on that whole the push to help the feminist and the lesbians, you know, with the tritoxin. I understand that Australians doing their part with a new drink called Dixon cider.
I think with that we have to let Heidi.
I'll correct you here.
And on that bombshell, folks, it's time to end.
I've got to correct you here. We've got a drink called Clayton's. Clayton's is called. It's a drink when you're not having a drink. Okay.
Yeah.
That's called a Clayton's. So when you see these transvestites and stuff like that, we call them Claytons. A woman when you haven't got a woman.
Well, I've seen the commercials. I've seen the commercials.
Hello, jobless people. I'm one of you now.
honestly, guys, there is a drink called Clayton's, and it looks like Scotch. So when you go out, you buy a Clayton's if you're going to be the skipper driving everybody home. So it looks like you're drinking alcohol. So we call it Clayton's, a drink when you're not having a drink. And that's the ad, how it goes. So now we've got Clayton's women and Clayton's men, and we've got Clayton's everything now. So,
well, I understand that we are starting to import Dickens cider, and it's being served at all of the local bars.
Oh, yes.
All right, I like to say my birthday and Halloween. Those were my drinks.
But women, I believe women can't drink it because they might get pregnant.
That's right.
Shout out to Jane, Carol. Thank you so much. They're both moderate on here, and thank you for signing up for this. Thank you,
brave souls.
Yeah, when are we going to play on yours again, Mr. B? When can we meet again?
Well,
can
listen,
I bring my buddy Neil?
I've got a show. I've got a show on this weekend. We'll do it this weekend if you want to come and join us. Yeah,
nice.
It's fine. Yeah. Usual time. It's 11 o'clock in the morning my time. So, hey, all you guys are in different time zones. Which, hey, I'm not going to rack my brains on that, but I will put a notification out I'll say a couple of hours before I start the show. So everybody will get their little notifications. So please don't forget to like and subscribe to Heidi's show. It's a wonderful show. And it's like, we're gonna crash this party a few more times in the future. Don't you reckon, guys? It's a place. It's a place to go, and we will just hound them with text messages. No, hey guys, listen, keep it quiet. I've got a home phone number. Oh, bloody harasser.
Did you see I was trying to corral you yesterday, and then you're like, "Let's get Jim," and then I wrote Jim, let's wait for a synaptic circle, and then here I'm like, just come on.
Yeah, well, it's the way you can't beat being spontaneous. I mean, spontaneous is the way to go, especially when you've got a great group of people.
Especially when you're aspiring to be canceled and shut down across all platforms.
Yeah,
try all angles.
Yeah, this is my first and last guest appearance on YouTube because my channel's out of there. See you later.
It won't happen, mate. It won't happen.
We have to let Heidi go to her.
Well, we have a charter meeting. Yeah, tis the season. But I did want to say, didn't you have some show and tell, Neil? Was there just any show and tell today from you? I thought.
Yes. 2 seconds. It's okay. I'll keep it clean. Yeah.
Let me
hang on a minute.
Let's just see, fellas. You might get a real hoot out of this. Oops.
Yeah. No, basically, that was too close. Right. Okay. Basically, I've been getting lots of requests from Spaced Out Radio viewers to wear some of the merchandise, and especially the Dave Scott and the Rob G underpants. Now, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going to subject you guys to that. I respect my elders, and that's the way it shall remain.
Come on, I'm
not that far behind you, but I will. Just for the ladies out there, there's some Rob G underpants. There you go. I'm not putting them on. I'm not putting them on live on air. No way.
No. We want to see. We want to see a selfie photograph of yourself.
There's the back.
There's the
back.
You were teasing me. That's the only reason I pulled you on. I'm just kidding. Hey, wear those in your next live, though. In the castle.
Yeah.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, you guys. Yeah, thank all of you guys. Australia, we got everybody over here. Quick question, Bauer. Was it New Mexico? Where are you? I forgot.
Yes, I'm up by the Four Corners.
Okay, someone asked
Utah,
earlier in the thread.
Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico.
All right.
And it's in the high plains. And I got to tell you, I'm 50 or so miles south of Durango. They'll get 3 feet of snow, and I'll get 6 inches. And I'm loving it.
Wow. Well, New Mexico, Arizona, Illinois, Perth, Australia, and the UK. Thank you so much for playing. And Argentina in the house. Victoria, I see you. Thank you, everyone in the chat. And let's play again. I like these little chit-chat improvs. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us there, Heidi. Thank you.
Thanks for crashing, guys. That was fun. It really was a crash. We weren't planning that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Neil, do you have any closing remarks? I will probably in the stream, but do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, I'd just like to say a big thank you to you, Heidi, for, I don't know, just teaching me a lot of stuff about the universe and gratitude and looking at things in a different perspective, because it's changed my life massively,
Aww.
And so I'll be forever grateful to you for that. And thank you for having me on your show and being brave enough to have me on, because everyone else is too scared because they think, oh no, I'm going to get cancelled. But yeah, honestly, and to Terry, you're a good guy, mate. Anytime you need to call me, I'm always there. You know that. Gerald and Jane, or Gain, as she's now called. You're a lovely couple. And yeah, I really enjoyed chatting to you too as well. And Professor Bauer, you're a good guy. This is the first time I actually spoke to you, but yeah, you're a lot of fun, and I could listen to you go on for hours and
Oh,
hours.
it sounds
which-
like a
which is-
love affair now going on.
Which-
Cool.
which-
Oh, there you go.
which is a good job because, boy, do you talk. I'm joking. I'm joking, mate. I'm
He's
joking.
one of the
I'm
boys.
like that one that I'm like
Yeah,
that
they're
Jack
gonna-
in the Box.
Yeah,
When
he's
you
going to
hang it up
unplug
back
me.
and-
He's going to
yeah.
unplug my screen now. Yeah,
He's one of
I'm
the
gone.
boys now.
I love
And Jim Goodall. Yeah, this is. I've actually seen you for ages on like Spaced Out Radio and various podcasts, and yeah, I love listening to you and your stories and stuff because I'm into aerospace. I visited RAF Cosford down the road from me, and there's some really, really cool planes. Some of them look like Thunderbirds planes, you know, from like the 60s, and you think, wow, you know.
One of my favorites. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I can listen to you for hours as well, Jim. And next time, if you're ever going to sell your Corvette, you've got to give me first dibs on it. Okay, mate?
Well,
Cheers,
No,
buddy.
no, I'm going to get that next.
He's not selling it. He's not selling it. He's keeping it.
Hi, Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Off to teach a little bit, and I'll check in with you fellas later. Maybe we'll chit chat tomorrow. Then we'll bug Mr. B Truth Seekers.
All right.
The Midwest Night
It's
Watchers. I can't
Saturday
wait
for you.
Sunday.
Saturday evening for you guys. And
Yes.
Sunday morning for me. So,
Yes,
and
and it's
tomorrow-
probably really early for you, Neil. But they'll be talking so long that by the time you wake up, they'll still be going. So
Yeah,
just come on.
it'll be the afternoon by the time they.
And it's all Jim's fault. I have nothing to do with those long conversations.
Exactly.
Well,
Well, peace
can
in,
I just-
everybody.
Can I just finish that
Take
bullshit,
care.
Robert?
See y'all.
Take care, everyone.
See you later,
Bye-bye.
buddy.
Bye bye.
Bye.